It's a beautiful snowy morning here in Kamloops, BC, as round robin play continues at the 85th edition of the Tim Hortons Brier.
I'm just happy to be part of a team, it doesn't matter what position I'm in, where we have a great chance to win.
Jim Cotter, BC, bang bang, move the ball, and there it is. 1, 2, 3, BC.
And, Jimmy's got ice in his veins, he can make all the shots, and when you take the pressure off him of calling the game and worrying about some of those distractions, then he can just worry about what he's got to do, and that's shoot and make shots.
Way to battle, buddy, way to battle. Great draws again.
For him to be able to play in front of all his friends and family, we're just real proud of him and can't wait to have his back in here, and we're going to be ready to roar.
Wednesday, always an interesting day when it comes to round robin play at the Tim Hortons Brier as teams play themselves in or out of contention when it comes to the playoffs. Welcome inside the Interior Savings Center. Brian Mudrick, Kathy Gushue on TSN2. Trade Center taking over TSN. Lots of trades coming in the NHL. Here when it comes to curling, they'll be trading the hammer, and some teams hope to trade spots in the standings, but for Alberta, they just keep moving on up.
Well, they really do, scoring tons of points, and they have lots of close games at first, and actually last night against Saskatchewan, it was their toughest test. And
Alberta, though, looks very strong. The former champions from 2010 really had the pressure on Steve Laycock for a lot of the game, this in the ninth inning.
Well, and it was really interesting because Steve had made a ton of great shots during this game. This was arguably one of his easiest. It was a wide open. He had a chance to go to 10 and see what happens, but he rolls too far and gives up a steal of 2.
Ever since losing that opening game against BC, Kevin Cooey and company, they have been simply automatic. They run Saskatchewan out of stones in 10 and make the final there 8-6. Other scores to show you: Ontario, 8-3 winners. They're certainly in the playoff picture. New Brunswick over Quebec, 10-8. And the Yukon Northwest Territories downing Nova Scotia 7-4. They're looking for their first victory. Jamie Murphy at 0-7. As we look at the top of the table, BC, Alberta, Manitoba all on the ice this morning. British Columbia very strong with that 6-1 record. And of course, a lot of talk, Kathy, about that province. They haven't won a Brier since 2000, but you bring in John Morris onto this BC team, and Johnny Mo has certainly been Johnny Momentum. They've looked so strong all week long so far.
Well, he's a brilliant player, not only what he does technically in his shot making, but you'll hear the entire game. He mentors, he coaches, he does all of those things beyond just calling the ice. That lets Jim Cotter do his thing, which is make brilliant shots.
And this morning they'll be taking on Newfoundland and Labrador and Brad Gushue, the Olympic gold medalist. However, so far it has not gone as planned for this team. Why?
It really has been a story of a roller coaster ride. The last 2 games, 95% for Brett Gallant and for Brad Gushue, but they also were in the 60s at some point, and you can't play 60-90, 60-90 and expect to have a lot of W's.
This is Brad Gushue's 11th appearance at the Brier. He's only finished below 500 once. That was in 2012. Jim Cotter looks to keep pushing on up the standings. First Rock next from Kamloops, BC.
The 2014 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Tim Hortons Premium Blend Coffee, a true Canadian tradition. The 2014 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Ford, proud partner of the Canadian Curling Association for over 20 years, by M&M Meat Shops, frozen food at its best, and by Sponge Towels Paper Towels. Nothing absorbs like it.
It's a pivotal Wednesday morning. We got all the action here for you on TSN. Jeff Curry, Northern Ontario, taking on Jeff Stoughton, Team Manitoba. Alberta will go up against Nova Scotia as Jamie Murphy looks for win number 1. PEI facing off against James Grattan, and New Brunswick, our feature matchup on Sheet D. Newfoundland and Labrador taking on British Columbia. Of course, Jim Cotter throws the final stones. Johnny Mo holds the broom. Time to meet the teams. Brought to you by Ford, proud partners with the CCA for 20 years.
Hi, I'm Brad Gushue, skip of Team Newfoundland Labrador. Our lead is Jeff Walker, our second is Adam Casey, our third is Brett Gallant, and we play out of the Ballyhaley Golf and Curling Club in St. John's.
Hi, I'm John Morris, skip of Team British Columbia. At lead, we have Rick Sawatsky. At second, Tyrell Griffith. Throwing 4 stone, Jim Cotter. And we curl out of the Kelowna and Vernon Curling Club.
So game on at the Interior Savings Center. Brad Gushue, Newfoundland Labrador, will have the Red Stones. John Morris, BC, the Yellowstones. And for that man right there, he's looking pretty serious, and rightfully so. Yeah. Brad comes in with 4 losses. He can't afford loss number 5. It was BC winning the draw, and that means Johnny Moe and company will have the hammer and start things off on a crucial Wednesday morning. Kathy Gauthier, this is the lead. Jeff Walker from Team Newfoundland and Labrador.
Now, some pretty good numbers by Jeff. It has not been the tail of the front end. The front end has certainly held their own. You saw those numbers by Jeff. Tyrell and Adam Casey, exactly the same. The difference has started to be when you get to the back end. It has been a high-low performance back and forth, and that's been the inconsistency that's been the challenge for Team Newfoundland Labrador this week so far.
Ooh, baby. Whoa, Nelly. You say he didn't think that was there?
Yeah, he didn't think it was there.
And if that's the case, ice conditions could be very fast already early this morning.
And that's certainly very possible. What the ice crew are doing is they are, after learning earlier this week, they do not have the air conditioning on at all during the course of the game, but they do flush the building. The doors are wide open, and they get a lot of outside air in here between draws overnight, and so it is colder, crisper.
Whoa. Back 4, T.
Let it work. Let it work.
Makes the rock slide a little bit farther.
Wait's good.
It's there.
It's just there.
Small bump. Tie all you.
If you've been watching BC, Kathy, all week long, you know that Johnny Moe throws the 3rd stones, but he calls the game, and he's not shy about having a lot of rocks in play. What do you expect this morning?
Well, for Johnny Moe, you're right. He absolutely does that, but he needs to have access for sure for Jim to the 4-foot. He'll make them if he's got a chance and capitalize on rock positions. When they've had chance for big shots, Jim Cotter can make them. For Brad Gushue and his team, maintain that consistency, find a level and stay there, and respect the role. Sometimes we feel that the front end is a little bit nervous about making the own judgment on the rocks. They have to take control over the sweeping calls. That's their job.
The game plan brought to you by World Financial Group, helping families have better financial futures.
Craig. Regular.
Such a key player on this team. Sometimes front ends go relatively unnoticed. Rick Sawatsky, 11 years with Jim Cotter, someone that Jim told me he looks at as somebody that he has complete trust in. Rick is not afraid to ignore John and Jim yelling at him on draw weight. He makes those choices himself. He knows what his job is. And some brilliant numbers, first amongst all leads in this field.
38-year-old Rick Sawatsky.
Yep.
And Rick, his nickname is Swat, according to Johnny Moe on this team. They have a lot of fun together. And the one thing that John Morris certainly said after leaving Kevin Martin's team, his heart kind of fell out of the game. And he said since rejoining this team, he has that passion back, and there's nobody he loves playing for more than Mr. Cotter. And it's great, too, having Jim back. Jim grew up in Kamloops, so John realizes this. Great teammate, and he wants to have a great week for Jim, and Jim is having a great week for Jim.
He sure is. So Adam's numbers, this is who he is tied with in the standings, so we're expecting pretty much parity amongst the front ends this morning.
Tight, John. Getting better. Clean. 2/3. Clean. Go again. Clean. That's good. That's good.
Okay.
Brad looking to keep things relatively simple early here in this early morning game.
Second, Adam Casey. He started the week with a lot of flow, had the hair going, and then after a bit of a losing streak, decided to change things up and shave the head.
I was thinking about that as we did the team introductions. I thought he does not look like that anymore.
It'll be the same.
Good chance for Team BC to get a feel for draw weight. Newfoundland and Labrador hitting their stones.
Half. Okay, go then.
28-year-old Tyrell Griffith.
Right here.
Okay, guys.
Right here, SWAT. Yep. Yep. Make it usable.
Yep. Yep.
That's good. That's good. Just to the letter.
Sweet.
You talked about Johnny Mo's leadership, Kathy, and you see Jim Cotter sweeping and has that role on this team. And what really impressed me in talking with John and the team at the Olympic curling trials, he's a leader not only on the ice but off the ice. I know him and Ty, they started going to hot yoga together before games. It became part of their ritual, even going back to the pre-trials. And Ty said it really helped him with relaxing his breathing and really knowing how to control himself when there was a big moment on the ice. As for Jim played a lot of sports growing up, including baseball. And what Jim told me, he had a problem not only with his hips, they weren't really aligned, just from sports injuries over the years, but his shoulder. Playing a lot of ball, he had a rotator cuff that was bugging him. What did John do? He got the team in touch with a physiotherapist, started working with him, and now Jim says the hips are fine, shoulder feels great. Obviously, his role is now sweeping on this team as well. And there's a great example of leadership, not only on, but off the ice as well.
Well, beyond his natural personality for John Morris, what he brings from those years with Kevin Martin is access to a lot of really high-level training. He would have experienced a lot, not only at the Saville Center, but also just by the course of winning, going to the Olympics, winning the Olympics. You get access to all kinds of things that you can't even imagine as a club curler. And so even though he may not be utilizing all those things personally, he knows what can benefit others on his team, and he's sharing that knowledge.
Okay.
John Morris, too, 35 years old. We forget, though, this is third province now he's representing. Remember him, Kathy, just as a kid representing Ontario as a skip? That was back in Calgary in the early 2000s. And then, of course, the great run with Kevin Martin, and now here in BC.
I think in practice I was getting like 3 more feet of carry with that rock. So I think that 5 just carries good.
It's not a problem if you feel that one of your rocks carries a little bit better, but it's something the sweepers need to be aware of, and most importantly, John, when he throws.
Brett Gallant runs it back.
Well, a key player this morning we'll be watching is Brett. Talked about his 95 last game. Down before that, 95 before that, 63 before that.
Make sure you're positive with it.
And when you look at the games that Brett Gallant has not played well, the numbers are very low for Brad Gushue as well. A lot of that because the degree of difficulty of his shots, if his third is not making many of his, would be much higher.
I think we're close. I think we're close. Easy.
Top 8.
Whoa. Room. Room, wait if you can.
We're there. Top 4.
Tyrone, you're in. Hard, boys, hard.
Swat and Tyrone. And that combo will brush behind that corner guard. BC has hammer here in 1. They have shot stone behind cover.
The only advantage for Newfoundland Labrador, even though that was made really well by John Morris, is that guard as they go by. Look at the room that they've got. It's got a ton of room by the guard. And the ice conditions are great. There's the big finish, but it is a high guard and there was lots of room. So with a hacked weight kind of shot, Brad Gushue has access to it.
Further in, but I think it should be close to speed.
This should slide good. Should be in good the first half. That's enough though, is it, Jeff?
I think it is, yeah.
Okay.
Corner freeze, Kathy, or tap it out?
I think he's playing the tap.
Anything a hair solid.
Pretty incredible. 11th Brier appearance for Brad Gushue. 9th straight appearance. Just 33 years of age. And a young team. You know, we've seen Brad here so many times, but Brett, 24, Adam, 24, Jeff, 28 years of age, as he'll make the tap on that yellow stone.
Yeah, weight was good. Jeff, good weight.
A little heavy?
No, it wasn't heavy.
No?
Yeah. I was wrong. It was good weight.
I got a head cold. Yeah, same as me. Probably got mine. What? Where we got what I had? Oh, it's like right here. It's killing me. Voice is cracking. I sound like I'm 12.
Well, and you know, that is one of the challenges of the long week. You're up early, you're up late, you're trying to make sure that you're staying in a routine and that you're getting up early enough to eat and have your food be able to be digested and get the maximum potential from the nutrients that you're taking in. It can be a really long week for these players. And when you have somebody sick like Jeff Walker to start with, you heard him say, I probably gave you mine. Spent a lot of time in close confines with your teammates.
Real nice weight. Nice control. Okay.
The season of champions, Kathy, has been a tough season. Just go back to Montreal and those poor women that were competing. There was a flu or a bug that went through pretty much not only the entire field there, but even the TSN broadcast crew as well. There was a lot of people very sick, and there's nothing worse than
that's why I like that path.
Battling all year long, and you get to where you want to be in a national championship, and you're not even close to 100%.
That should be close for the roll, right?
Yeah, be real close, I think. Yeah.
First end here, Brad Gushue, final stone without hammer here in one.
He's trying to get the roll behind the guard now. He had a chance to see this path on his first one. Trying to get to the inside.
Clean it.
Right on the nose. So here comes the blank attempt now for British Columbia.
A little more, yeah.
Yeah, that was solid hack.
Brett's was curling just a hair here, just to let you know. I think we're safe with that.
Final stone here in one for 39-year-old Jim Cotter.
Good.
And they'll roll it out just enough, so it is a blank. It's a crucial Wednesday morning here at the Tim Hortons Brier, and we're scoreless after one.
.48 curlers started the week with a chance to drive away in a brand new 2014 Ford Fusion in the Ford Hot Shots. In the final, Saskatchewan's Kirk Myers facing Darren Roach of New Brunswick. Myers, he was magnificent when it counted most, scoring the maximum 5 on 4 of his shots, including a beautiful hit and roll. So Myers, along with the help of his sweepers, Philippe Menard and Garth Smith, Myers goes on to the win, taking the Ford Hot Shots and a 2-year lease on a 2014 Ford Fusion Titanium 2-liter all-wheel drive with EcoBoost.
Welcome back to our coverage of the Tim Hortons Brier. As promised, we'll keep you up to date all morning long. Northern Ontario taking on Manitoba, and Jeff Stoughton has 2 yellows in the house. Final stone from Jeff Curry from Thunder Bay. First time the Thunder Bay has been represented since 2003.
Well, a very complicated first and a very difficult first shot for Jeff Curry. Needs to go through that gap and then needs to get to the 4-foot without touching that yellow stone in the 8-foot.
Jeff Curry, a former Canadian junior champion. This one needs to slow down in a hurry. John Meade puts the brush down, and a steal of 2 for Manitoba, and a 2-0 lead after 1.
2 yellow.
Our feature matchup this morning has Newfoundland and Labrador taking on British Columbia. Jim Cotter blanked the first end, so BC has the hammer here in 2. This is Rick Swatsky.
Come on, boys, you got it. Hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Yeah, watch the shooter.
Plan B, the tick off the guard.
That's better.
And behind the corner guard, Johnny likes it.
Shots what?
Well, it's better because it did 2 things. It opened up the front, it gave them another corner guard, and rolled buried.
I don't mind the guard.
Kathy, New Brunswick taking on PEI. There is a lot of granite in the house. It is James Grattan with final stone coming in with a 2-5 record. And he's looking to move some granite around here.
Well, I can only see about half of that top redstone from the hack. Needs to make a good connection with it.
Hard, come on, Brett, hard.
Moves him around, and how many is that?
3, I think.
Wow. 2 for sure.
Clip it in.
And that is 3. Great start.
3.
James Grattan
2 for sure. Maybe.
picks up the 3.
I hit a little thicker.
In talking with James, that was a team that struggled, Kathy, early on. They weren't used to the ice. It took them a few days to get going, but they've looked stronger and stronger as the week's gone on.
Board? Doesn't matter. Whatever you like.
Okay, let's go board.
Okay.
Maybe a little fresher.
Yeah. Give you a solid board.
Well, they're working hard at cleaning the ice this morning. There's been a couple of stones already that look like they've picked up some debris, and that allows a free pass, if you will, at that stone in the forefoot belonging to Brad Gushue.
Hard, you got it! Hard! Whoa! Whoa! Yep, yep! Hard! Hard! Hard!
Roll it!
Go, 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 go.
Yep.
Go, go. Good shot. Irvin, way.
Yeah.
Well, a really good call by John Morris. You really want to stick around on this. Great throw by Tyrell for sure, but great call to get it over there and then jumps on it to make sure it goes right behind the guard.
All right, come on, Brett. Go, 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 go.
Newfoundland Labrador looking to run there straight back.
Hard! Right up, hard!
Shooter spills into the rings. BC with hammer here in the second. And it is Jim Cotter line 2. I know, Kathy, it's not a stat and they don't measure it, but I think what is really interesting and such a huge part of the game that maybe doesn't get enough recognition or credit is the guy in the house that makes the calls either on the fly or judges the brushing. I know Pat Simmons comes to mind. He saved about 2 or 3 just specifically that in games I was watching where they needed plan B, sometimes plan C, and that calling or that ability to react on the fly basically saves your team.
You know, whether it is the person that is the third calling the line for the 4th rock thrower or the skip for the rest of the team, that really is a big part of their job. And, you know, it is that ability to make snap decisions when things aren't going as they should that really distinguish the great player from the really good player. And Pat has been absolutely brilliant at that.
Okay, Ty. Good throw, man. I gave you too much.
Okay.
Good throw.
Hack. Yeah.
You heard John being very honest with Ty. I gave you too much ice. That's why it did not curl. Just taking accountability for that. It's not about, you know, not saying anything. It would be just as easy for John to say nothing, but he's sharing that information, wanting to get the most out of his players, give them confidence that they're throwing the rock well.
Whoa. Wait's good.
Wait's good.
Chance for Brett.
Come on up. Up, 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 up.
Right up.
I got it.
Okay. Did he call you out there?
So it's, talk to you guys.
Okay. Come talk to me over here.
Now, frustration for Brett this week. He's a really good player.
Pretty decent there.
Things just not working out the way he wanted.
Huh? I'm thinking 80.
What's this rock? What's this rock for sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not like lightning there, but it's just it's a nice speed. It's not bad. Not bad.
Just give me edge of 4. Top 80, boys.
So good sharing of information for John. John reminding them that this is a rock that he feels slides a little bit further. He asked for an 80. He just split an 80 on my stopwatch.
Line's good.
We can wait.
Line's good.
Top 4.
Wait if you can.
Line's good.
Wait if you can. Line's pretty good, but wait if you can. Go. Squat, you're in. Squat.
Hard, guys.
Boys,
Gotta
hard.
go.
Bury it.
Gotta go. Hard. All you got. You got it.
Hard. Hard.
And Johnny Moe will have that one partially buried. BC lies 2. It is a very busy day on both networks. On TSN, Trade Center live right now. And we can report A trade very close to happening. Marty St. Louis going to the New York Rangers. In return, Tampa Bay would get Ryan Callahan and a first and second rounder. They're putting the final touches on that trade. For all your updated trades, NHL News Trade Center 2014 on TSN right now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
A little heavier up here? Yeah, I'd say this way could go a little more.
This is where you have to really focus on the target, the broom. Oh, does not like it. He cannot see anything.
I like to run.
I can't see enough of it.
How much can you see?
An inch, 2 inch and a half.
You almost play.
He's right. He cannot see very much.
We hit over there. He sinks another one. Then play the run back double. When do you want to play the run back?
I was thinking that. If you like the hack, there's a couple feet more room than I thought there was.
If you want the run back, we'll play the run back.
Let's run it.
Sure.
I think for Brett Gallant sitting in the hack, there's very little. We showed you what he can see. It's maybe an inch or two, and what he doesn't want to do is just go by, tick that Yellowstone over, and roll away. That would allow BC an opportunity for 3. You have to believe when you're sitting in the hack that you are capable of making the shot, or the shot is there. And for Brett, you know, good for him to get up and come down if he didn't feel that he could make the shot. And so they're going to run this back, try to pick it off.
Why not try a corner freeze, Kathy?
Well, you could, but it's such an exacting shot, and it's early in the game.
Sit. Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
They really wanted to get rid of it, Brian, although, you know, you're right. That certainly would have been an option. Could have got second shot by corner freezing it. Just such a very difficult shot.
That's 75 on the last one, John. Okay.
And so for John Morris, we'll try to do the same thing he did on his first one. Get around one more time.
We don't want any like top 8, top 4. What he's going to do is he's going to run that double. Then we can get 2 in behind this one.
Yeah.
You will hear this all morning. He is very open about sharing, and that is so huge. Makes absolute certainty that his sweepers who are going to judge and make the shot for him understand where it needs to be, why it needs to be there, and what he intends to do.
Whoa. Mine's not bad, though. Mine's not bad.
Right here, guys.
There.
Whoa, then. Whoa, mine's great.
It's there, top 4.
Sit.
Still a lot better than the other one.
And for now, BC lies 3 with Hammer here in the second.
Slid.
Milky.
Yes.
Is that 1% or skim milk there, Kathy?
Open. No, we still got a hack weighter. I don't think he can roll up. I sure hope not.
Well, the reason he was not very happy is that double on the right-hand side, as you look at it, was what the team from Newfoundland and Labrador was going to play. Now you see that they've also got the option of playing the double the other way and being buried behind the guard.
Is the triple there, or is that too flat to catch that one in the 12-foot as well?
I think it's a little bit too flat.
Brad Gushue, his first here in the second, gets one, and he gets 2. A nice shot from the skipper.
Good throw, Brad.
Good throw. You'll see, Brian, when you're talking about the triple, it is too thin. It goes right across. He was hoping that he would hit it a little bit thicker so that when he hits the other yellow stone,
Thicker would have been nice.
There you go. He would have rolled behind the guard a little bit more. Instead, about half of it exposed.
Good throw. Thanks.
You talked about Johnny Moe and the communication with Jim Cotter. What I found interesting, you could literally cut a half-hour show of clips from John talking with Jim about what they're going to play 2 stones ahead or 3 stones ahead. He's always in Jim's ear, not in a bad way, but in a positive way. And off the top of the show, we ran that interview with John, him talking about taking the pressure off Jim, just letting him throw those final stones, no distractions, just performing. And I think that's been a real key factor in their success this week.
Shot. Fix it to lie 2. No, they've got a great dynamic, Brian. There's no doubt about it. They really work well together.
He'll come down, and I guarantee John will be talking about the
Jim,
next
I guess
shot.
I should have got off there at the end, eh?
Yeah, that's the only I was calling off. Just I knew it wasn't going to roll anywhere.
Sorry, man.
It's okay.
Oh,
no way was up. I didn't want to stop on there.
I was going to say he was close to board, but I don't know how he.
Oh, he was at least bored, yeah. But
Looking for the inside roll, get behind that guard.
Yeah, even solid hack, I think.
Okay.
You think that's enough, Jeff?
Yeah, I think so.
Just board.
Solid hack.
Yeah, solid hack.
Whoa.
Just board.
Whoa.
Heavy hack.
Whoa. Whoa. Clean. Yep. Yep. Yes.
Now that stone makes its break. And it may have rolled too far, Kathy.
Well, it is open for sure.
Shoot. Went hard. Yeah.
Good roll.
Oh.
My fault. Had to make that.
Kathy, this is the second time that the city of Kamloops has hosted the Brier, hosted back in '96 as well. Jim Cotter says he remembers that Brier being here in town, his hometown, and watching. And who would have thunk it years later now? Jim Cotter back in his hometown, competing in a Brier.
Pretty special.
And a nice shot here. So after a blank in one, Jim Cotter hits and sticks for 2 in the second. More from Kamloops after this.
Good end, guys.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of the Tim Hortons Brier here in Kamloops. Time for an update across the ice, and it's Alberta taking on Nova Scotia. Final stone for Kevin Cooey out of the Glenclow Cup in Calgary.
Now we saw a bit of a miscue from Kevin Cooey in the first end. He had the hammer. He did not make the double that he was attempting, and so it was a steal of 1 for Nova Scotia, but a chance to get 3 back here.
And he makes the hit. Shooter sticks around. And Alberta continues to roll a 3-1 advantage after 2. Meantime, Jamie Murphy from Lower Sackville, Nova Scotia, looking for win number 1. And despite their record, every win so important this year at the Tim Hortons Brier, as next year there will be a pre-competition tournament, and Nova Scotia, certainly one of those provinces on the bubble.
Real tight.
You don't want to be relegated. You want to get as many wins as possible. As for British Columbia, a great start in our feature matchup. Jim Cotter blanked the first, picked up 2 in the second, and it's Brad Gushue now, Newfoundland Labrador, with the hammer here in 3.
Well, and that's a mistake that you're seeing for Jeff, wanting to get a corner guard. You see him sliding in the house, and so that allows BC to go chasing that stone.
It looks like more in my house.
Clean. Wow. Yep. Wow, wow.
Easy, just clean.
Wow. Shot. Right out, Jimmy, right out. All the way over the white.
Once again, we'll try to throw the corner guard. Get something going here in the third end.
Pretty good.
Whoa, whoa,
Good wait.
It's fine. Good job.
Wait.
Clean.
John not going to get lured into that corner guard game.
Clean.
Good.
Think it should slide the same going this way, Adam?
Throw by Tyrell, and so for Brad, changing options, trying to move the guards around a little bit, try to find a place where maybe they'll get a nose.
It's got cold.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Weight's good. Weight's good.
Sliding pretty good.
You know, it's a long week when you come to a Canadian championship, and it's not going to be every game that you play really well, but it is really important if you're going to be there for the end of the week that you do play consistently. And that is one of the things that the BC team has done. As you look at all the players, Rick Sawatsky, those are their percentages first, where they are in the standings compared to other players at their level. And then we compare where their opponent is this morning. So we've got a +5 versus a -2. It's really tough when you're in the minus category. That means that you're being outshot by, 1 game, 2 game, 3 games. We'll take another look at that. So not a lot of plus numbers. Only Casey's got a +1, but otherwise for Team Gushue, they've struggled to outscore their opponent. And for BC, they found ways to always be better, not only in their shot making, but in outscoring their opponent. That means wins on the board, and that's why BC is at the top of the table.
To follow up on that point, Kathy, very impressive. This team hasn't been together a very long time, and they really gelled in the pre-trials. Keep in mind, this team one win away from representing Canada at the Olympics. They were in the Olympic curling trial finals in Winnipeg against Brad Jacobs. So in a short time, they've really come together nicely.
Well, and as disappointing as losing that final was, both Jim and John have said that it really found a way to bring their team to a new level. And so should this team get to the weekend, whether that is the Final Four or Sunday in the finals, they've been in a big finals before. And unless you have done that, you don't know what it's like. It's hard to tell somebody that adrenaline that you think you can control steps up a ramp, and the crowd here for this BC team will be very, very strong and be trying to influence and encourage them. So having gone through a final before really prepares them well for taking the next step forward.
Solid board. Yep. Solid board. Pretty firm.
Wait. Yeah. That's like normal, guys.
Okay.
Real hard.
Well, and you can hear that for Brad Gushue, it's pretty much resignation that this will be a blanked end. So they will throw them up and down.
This obviously, you knew, a big game for BC. Brad Gushue was one of the favorites coming in. It hasn't gone as scripted or how Brad wanted it thus far for Newfoundland and Labrador. But keep in mind, too, BC already through Alberta. Alberta's only loss came to British Columbia in the opener. This obviously a big game. And then on the horizon, BC does have Jeff Stoughton and Team Manitoba. But that 1-2 game certainly in their grasp. If you're not familiar, the top 4 teams make the playoffs. The top 2 play in that 1-2 page playoff game. Winner goes right to the final. Loser has a second life.
Pretty quiet.
And then in the 3-4 game, the winner moves on to the semifinal, plays the loser of that 1-2 game. And what I found interesting, Kevin Cooey, the first team in 2010, Kathy, came out of the 3-4 game to win the Brier last year in Edmonton. Brad Jacobs, 3-4 game. He beat Brad Gushue in that 3-4 game, and he went on to win the Brier. So anything is possible if you make that Final Four now.
Well, there is no free spot on the bingo card here at the Brier. I watched Jamie Cooey play last night. They were very, very strong. We have seen Jamie Murphy, who is 0 right now in terms of the win column, really test every opponent that he's played against. And so just because you do not have a winning record does not mean that you're not going to play well or that it's going to be easy. Every game is huge.
Wow.
So we see them running up and down. This will certainly ensure that as it gets more complicated as the game goes on, there will be lots of time on the time clock.
Doesn't appear to be going crazy out here.
No.
And a lot of this end, you go back to the very first stone thrown by Jeff Walker that slid into the house. That took away the advantage or the opportunity to get those guards up.
Last night, Kathy, in the 5th end break, Nolan Thiessen did a pretty funny interview. The lead for Team Alberta, very superstitious guy. He said the pants that he wore in Alberta at the provincials were his lucky pants, and he came here. They lost their opener to BC, so he switched his pants, and now they're undefeated. I thought you had a pretty funny story when you competed and you were going to an event, and you told me about the parking stall that you guys had each and every day.
Yeah, and you know what? I would never recommend that. I should never have told you
It's a great story, though.
You know, it's as curlers, we're very superstitious, and the story I told about was the '95 final, and our driver had parked in the same spot every day, and as we made our way to the arena for the final, I was in a state of panic. What happens if we come around the corner? So
Call the tow truck.
I had Kathy O looking up a tow truck in case we needed it. But those are not good things. I think it's important as a curler that you have your rituals. So maybe it's that you know, that you make sure that you stretch for at least 10 minutes before a game, or that in your mind you go over certain things, or that there maybe is something that you are in control of. For Nolan, if you lose your pants, you're hooped. If you really can't have people towed because they are in your parking spot. Although I would have.
I do love the superstition tradition that you come up to buy me coffee every morning, Kathy. That is, I think it's going really well.
Yeah,
it's
for
worked
one
out great.
of us.
It's worked out great.
And so a very simple end, but important that he finished this off.
Brad Gushue, final stone here in 3, looking for the blank. And just enough to run that yellow stone out. BC continues to lead 2-0 at the Brier. Welcome back to Kamloops, British Columbia, site of the 85th Tim Hortons Brier, the 10th anniversary of Tim Hortons being involved with this great event, the Canadian Men's Curling Championship. And a big congratulations. The World Junior Championship and the Canadian women win gold.
Fabulous.
First since 2003, beating South Korea 6-4. So to Kelsey Rock and her team out of Edmonton, a huge congratulations and a job well done.
Well, that is fantastic for Kelsey and her team. And we talk about World Juniors. What a great training ground. Jeff Walker, he's had his opportunity to do that and to win and carry Canada's colors. Well, guess who else out here? Two great junior skips go on to be great men's skips as well.
John Morris, of course, in 98-99, Brad Gushue 2001, and his teammate Jeff Walker, a world champion in 2006.
That's really great. You know, I had the opportunity to see Kelsey Rock play about 3 years ago in Toronto at the U18 Optimus, and she did not win. She lost the final, ironically enough, to Corinne Brown, Canada's representative last year. But I remember talking to her after and telling her that she was the single best last rock thrower I had seen in a very long time. She is poised. She has tremendous abilities. That is so great for those young ladies. Canada is so proud. And Korea, what a great story too, Brian. First medal ever. That is certainly a nation that Canada's going to have to watch out for in the future.
What I find incredible, too, when you talk about the women's game in Canada, Jennifer Jones, perfect at the Olympics on her way to a gold medal. Rachel Homan at the Scotties, perfect. And now another gold on the junior scene for Canada. So women's curling in Canada doing fantastic.
Women in Canada are fantastic.
I will agree.
Hey, buddy.
Over on Sheet A, Northern Ontario, playing the Red Stones. Jeff Stoughton, Manitoba, the Yellow Stones. And final stone here belonging to Jeff Stoughton, trying to win his 4th Brier title. His first actually came in this building in Kamloops. His final stone and a chance for a score.
Well, a chance for 2.
Clean it.
The other 2 updates we've done, it has been Jeff Curry having to make some difficult shots, and for Jeff, an opportunity here for 2.
I'll let Jeff call it. I guess he wants to make the roll.
And there it is. And the roll. Got them both. So it is 2 on the board. A 4-1 advantage for Manitoba after 3. Of course, they come in with that 5-2 record. Manitoba, they've had an interesting week, to say the least. They've not really done things the easy way. But I guess the good news for Manitoba fans and Jeff Stoughton, they're still looking good to make the playoffs, and a lot of time still in round robin play to sort out the kinks.
Okay, good.
Good shot.
Yeah, he wanted one house.
You can see the call from Brad Gushue. He's more concerned about eliminating a stone and rolling behind the corner guard than making the double. The double certainly is there, but you can see that if you make that, you either roll out or you roll to the open. And if you do happen to roll out, you know that BC will eliminate the corner guard. And so he's asking Adam to hit and roll behind the guard. Not too concerned that BC would still be shot. Lots of rocks left.
No roll. No roll.
Sit. Hang it on.
Eddie McKenzie out of Charlottetown, and PEI comes in with a 3-4 record. For him already, his best record ever out of Brier, taking on New Brunswick in tough, though James Gratton has a 5-0 advantage on him. Final stone for McKenzie.
Well, we've certainly seen some great shots Eddie McKenzie has made this week. But you talked about James earlier. He is a Brier veteran, and the challenge is he just has slow starts, not used to the ice conditions. But once he gets going, he is tough. Lovely stop.
Couldn't quite tap it and get it by that red stone, so it is a single on the board. And New Brunswick continues to lead 5-1. PEI, one of those teams trying to avoid the pre-competition tournament next year in Calgary.
Speed should be good here, eh?
You saw Adam Casey's stone, first stone roll a little bit too far, hung it on the edge. BC replaced that, and so a chance now to draw.
Little late, not bad though.
An interesting wrinkle for Calgary next year at the Brier 2, Kathy, as the winner of this event will be Team Canada. And we sat down and talked with a lot of players and skips before this event, and interesting enough, Brad Gushue was one of those skips who's not a fan. He actually likes the tradition of it. He thinks that you need to earn your way out of your province and then get to a Brier. And he likes it the way it is.
Well, I would argue, because the Team Canada concept has been a part of women's curling for a long time, and I wholly endorse the idea, and I love the idea that the men are going that way too. It is a great marketing opportunity to ensure that you have the best team in the country back. If you happen to win the country, there's so many opportunities that you have to travel and to further develop the game and the sport, and sometimes it's even offshore in other countries. You can't do that if you have to worry about playing zones and regionals, and also because of the number of teams that there are that Brad faces in Newfoundland, Labrador. His playoff season is much shorter than would be the case for teams like John Morris from BC or Manitoba. They have to stick around to play in a lot more things to even get to provincials.
One other score to pass your way. You see the 3 jumps out for Team Alberta, blank in 3. So Jamie Murphy has the hammer, and Kevin Cooey leads 3-1. And to follow up on that conversation, Kathy, on the flip side, the guy you talked about, Johnny Moe, absolutely loves the idea of Team Canada. And he said, listen, I think it's great. You got to knock off the champ if you want to be the champ. And he likes the format.
I can guarantee you whoever wins here this year will love the format.
Puppy, right only, guys. Lots of room. Whoa, room. A lot of room here.
Okay, weight's good.
Mine's not bad.
A little less than the last one.
Mine be good.
Puppy.
Needs a curl. A curl bit.
Trying to find that right combination of weight and ice to get buried. Lots of room by the guard.
Go.
Hard.
Okay.
A good weight for Brett.
It's a little full.
Oh, there you go.
A little full.
How much is buried?
Okay, that was 15 seconds you just served.
And what is a little full, Kathy?
So from the broom, he was positive, or he was just either straight wide, so he took extra ice, or he put it fully to the stick. So it's going to run straight before it starts to make its move, and that's why he feels that it's a little bit open.
Back line.
Just through sort of half.
Okay.
Good back line.
Yeah. Gotta go. Hard. Hard. Right to it. it! Right to it!
Please!
Yeah! Yeah!
Roll it! Roll it! Go,
There's
go,
the
go,
hit.
go, go.
And BC lies 3 without here in 4.
Just didn't want to give him a double and roll, you know? Good. Good.
Yeah.
Just didn't want to give him that double and roll.
No, exactly. I was actually
just good
looking
enough.
at that. Yeah. I was looking at that too. I was the same page with you.
Well, he's always thinking what he wanted to make sure is that he didn't roll here, because then in any Newfoundland Labrador double, the shooter obviously goes that way.
Yep. Real hard, guys. Hard!
Air firm!
Gotta go hard!
Brett Gallant.
Clean! Hard! Good, good.
And there's the double, and you see where the shooter had to stick, given where
Real
John
good
Morris rolled 2.
Pretty solid again.
Shot gets rid of the 2. Impossible to roll behind the corner guards if the objective was to make the double.
Yeah.
Can I wait? Okay.
Jimmy, if you can roll this way, but nose is fine. Just board.
Even in the hack. Lots to share.
I know it's early, but both Jim and John seem to have the playoff beards going already.
Solid board!
Yep, yep. Hard, hard. Good, good, good. That's good, that's good.
Jim Cotter, right on the nose.
Hair big. Didn't look like a lot of ice. I wasn't gonna.
Brad Gushue and his record in his own province, pretty remarkable, Kathy. You talk about the whole
Solid board.
Team Canada component now.
Okay.
He beat Colin Thomas 6-2 in the final to go to the Brier once again. They were undefeated this year, and his winning streak is now at 31-0
Might be tight.
in the Newfoundland Labrador playdowns over the last 5 years. That is pretty remarkable.
Just board.
Nice weight. Nice board. Whoa, whoa,
Weight's good.
whoa. Nice board. Yep. Yep. Whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Up. Whoa. Hard, Adam. Come on, you might have it. Go.
Try to roll it behind that corner.
Hard, 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 hard.
Not quite enough.
Just halfway, I think, bud.
Had an interesting chat with Brad Gushue,
nice
of course.
pass here.
He was the 5th for Kevin Martin at the trials. And even a guy with all of his experience and all the skipping that he's done, even Brad had said, you know what, I did learn a lot of little things from Kevin Martin and that team that has a lot of experience, and certainly something that he could take with him now competing at the Brier here.
Well, it doesn't surprise me at all. Kevin is a master of a lot of things, has been through a lot in this sport. And I would argue that if you take any of the top teams and go play with them or help them out by being 5th, that you're going to pick up things that your own team doesn't do, that you know, you can sort through what works for you and what doesn't, but being open to learning is always important in this game.
Bumper!
Whoa, 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 whoa,
Bumper!
whoa, whoa.
Gotta get off the line.
No.
Never.
No.
Clean. Clean. Yep, roll it. Yep, yep, yep. That's good.
Good. Got.
Successfully removes it, but by that roll, you can see that a nose hit here will give Brad Gushue the single.
Hack this thing, but then you knew I didn't really know what that meant.
Hack, yeah, I was gonna say.
Because I don't know
I was
this.
gonna
This
say
is
hack,
your old team.
hack, yeah, hack up or board down. So we were thinking the same thing.
Same page, good.
Yeah.
Oh, as a great example of the ongoing learning, there's all sorts of signals for hack and bump.
Yeah,
People
good
touch
idea.
their watch, they touch the back of their shoe. Johnny's getting the cutoff, don't talk to me anymore signal, doesn't know whether that's hack or bump. So that's a really great moment, but it does show that this is a new team, as you've said, Brian. They haven't had a lot of opportunities to play together, and they're still learning as they go.
I know Jeff Stoughton loves nice.
Nice.
Nice weight.
Nice in Manitoba means about a 10 in Manitoba speak.
Final stone here for Brad Gushue. And that is nice. He'll hit it on the nose and pick up his single. Jim Cotter, BC, they'll have the hammer back and a lead when we return to Kamloops.
Bang, bang, up, moving. Oh my, what a shot with the big scrum. What you got? 1, 2, 3. Oh, goodness gracious.
It's been a great week so far as we update the standings here, the Tim Hortons Brier. BC, Alberta, Manitoba, all on the ice this morning. 6-1, the best record thus far. And you don't want to get more than 4 losses. Saskatchewan's on the ice this afternoon as they'll take on Team Manitoba. Steve Laycock at 4-2. As we bring you back to our feature matchup this morning between BC and Newfoundland and Labrador, a single for Brad Gushue in the 4th, and a 2-1 advantage for BC as Jim Cotter has the hammer here in 5.
Back line.
Jeff Walker leads stones for this team from the Valley Haley Golf and Curling Club in St. John's, Newfoundland, Labrador.
Back 8.
Try for
back 4.
C or D.
Back 8, back 4.
He's definitely got that going. He was trying to play the tap on the Yellowstone or the freeze.
Gee. Control.
Control, wait, you threw one here. Kind of wait.
Control.
Okay.
Control.
Yep. Clean.
Just control.
Whoa. Clean. Yep. Whoa. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. No roll. No roll. No roll. Good.
Shot. Okay. Freeze it up.
Yeah, top 8.
Yeah.
Adam will try to get around that guard corner freeze or come right up to the face of that BC stone and have it as something that they can manipulate and move. Trying to find a way to steal here and go even into the break.
Line's good. Line only right now. Okay, line's real good.
Line's fine.
Line's great.
Bump.
Line only. Okay.
Yep.
Bumping a foot.
Yep. Yep.
Hard. 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 Hard line. Hard. Go, go, go. Okay, well.
Okay.
Shot.
Good shot.
I kind of like ripping. Is Peel any good?
One of the options for sure, especially given it's a Newfoundland Labrador stone out front. It's something that Brad Gushue can run back into the mix. And so comfort from the other end. You heard Jimmy Cotter yelling, is the Peel any good? That is the call for tie.
Mission accomplished. Live look at Sheet A, Northern Ontario at 2-5. Jeff Stout, Manitoba coming in with that 5-2 record. And a chance here for the Brier rookie, Jeff Curry, to make a play on that Yellowstone. You see, top 4 and score a pair.
Whoa, on its own. On its own. Whoa, whoa, never. Yep.
We watch the guard on our feature sheet.
Hard, guys.
Right hard.
Hard to it. Right to it. Hard, 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 hard.
Right up.
Need to hold that shooter. Oh, just by that Yellowstone, but good enough. So 2 for Jeff Curry out of the Fort William in Thunder Bay.
Nice.
Manitoba still leads after 4.
Nice.
Well, changing tactics. The last time there was a center guard, they elected to run it.
Hard to get the guard off. Hard, hard.
time they were playing into the house, now going option B.
Hard! Whoa, 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 whoa. Good hold, boys, good hold. Ooh.
They did get that really well done. Jeepers.
Go!
And it will just hang on, fighting to 12, but BC lies 3 with the hammer here in 5.
That's great brushing by the team from BC. It was tight. You heard John saying, you know, hard to get the guard off, but they managed to keep it straight. No give there, and this is where it just backs up that little bit to get by and pick out the Newfoundland Labrador stone. Great shot.
Whoa!
And this is now damage control without last rock.
At least beak it.
Yep.
Jesus.
Sheet B now, Alberta, Nova Scotia.
Wow,
And
chance
it was,
for 3.
And I'll tell you what, it was Kevin Cooey making a great shot with his final stone to clear some of that yellow out of the forefoot. Jamie Murphy's had the heat on this end. Trying to pick up his first win at the Tim Hortons Brier. Got to get it by that red stone, and he can't.
This is going to be a fuck, right? He's going to probably nose that. Eventually he's going to make a double.
So a steal of 1 for Alberta and Kevin Cooey, and a 4-1 advantage. Kevin got himself, Kathy, out of a whole bunch of trouble. Jamie Murphy had about 3 stones locked into that forefoot, and with his final one, he made them disappear, and he escapes big time.
Top 8, boys.
What do you think?
A really great chance here for BC with Brett Gallant only getting 1 stone and it being third shot, a chance to get around.
80 from me, 80, 85.
Yep. Yep. Hair quiet.
Line's good.
We're good. I think we're good.
Just top 8.
Hey, hard then. Hard. Come on. Line's perfect.
We got room.
Hard. Line's great. Line's great. Rim.
Switch if you can.
Wait if you can. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Switch.
At the end. Yep.
Yep.
Come on, Slow. Hard.
Good.
Shot.
Good scrub, boys.
Shot, Johnny.
88. 88? Okay.
That's perfect.
Nice. It's a nice path. 88 should have been a little bit light.
Update for you now, PEI and New Brunswick. James Grattan a 5-1 advantage. He has the final stone on the way. You see the red stone comes into your screen, a little tap. And it looks to be 2 more. And a 7-1 advantage now for James Grattan.
The run. The only good freeze is right there.
Run's the last of my shot call.
For the run. You make it if you nose, and if you're a hair high, you get that.
Try and cut him down to 2 at this point.
Freeze on here.
It's fully buried.
Ties came up pretty good at the end.
What?
Ties came up pretty good. He nearly got to nose one that was only pretty much fully buried.
Oh, no, he didn't get the nose. This is his here. He hit and rolled.
2/3 then. I mean.
It was half. He only had hack or less.
What are you thinking, Brett? It's not real good.
Like right now, it's so early, even a perfect freeze isn't great.
No.
We make a perfect freeze, he comes on top of it, then what do we do?
Do you like this? Try to do this at all?
I don't, because it's fully buried.
Okay.
And if you ever just touch the guard,
That's real bad.
Yeah.
So run back then.
I think the run back, personally, right now.
Right in the nose is good.
Yeah. I like this.
Right in the nose is good.
Yeah.
They've looked at a lot of options, and their concern is that if they freeze right now, it's still too early. They're really concerned because the Yellowstone right underneath the broom that is being held there by Brad is completely buried. The problem with the run, and the reason that John Morris did not remove it after he had peeled the guard before, is that it is so long. And to make this, it's a lot more difficult. If he makes it, it's great.
Yep. It's gotta go, Jeff. Gotta go.
So Brett Gallant trying to do some damage control. Runs it back, gets one, and he'll jam the yellow.
Okay.
BC still lying 2 with hammer here in 5.
Same ice.
Sweep.
That's a tough shot. It's a long guard. It's hoping that maybe he might make the double with them. It's just a little bit across.
Like half in the 8. The same spot we just had would probably be perfect, right?
Yeah.
Of course, that center guard remains there, but it is now 1 rock higher, so trying to run that back becomes more and more difficult. And for John Morris and his team, a chance to get around in line 3.
Wait's good. Tighter line.
The line's good. Line's fine.
Good.
Line's fine.
Hold there. Line's
Hold
good.
it. Hold it. Hold it. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa. Just stay.
We're there. Might over curl.
It's gonna over curl.
Top 4. It's gonna over curl.
Kid, it's almost a good thing.
Top 4. Right off.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. It's fine.
And this stone from John Morris actually peeks out the other side, but BC
84 on that.
does lie 3.
It's a little softer.
Hair soft.
And for John,
Sorry,
pretty
buddy.
great story when you talk about their provincials, Kathy. They won the final 11-2 over Jason Montgomery at the Vancouver Curling Center, and that was the site of where he and Kevin Martin won Olympic gold. And John said there was a lot of great memories coming back to that building, and rightfully so. They were absolutely perfect in Vancouver.
Okay. The good thing is it's a nice high guard.
Yes.
So he does get buried.
Rolling in or out?
And as usual, John already looking ahead to the stones to come for Jim Cotter.
Spot. If it's kind of hanging, rolling right in front of that other yellow is
Pretty good.
Yeah, should do the job for cutting it down to 2.
He's got 2 options on this shot. If it is curling, he can roll here, but they're saying if it's hanging out and he rolls there, that presents a bit of a problem for Jim Cotter. The risk of a jam.
It's a hair slower, a couple feet.
I'd agree with that, but not much.
So their preference is to roll behind the center guard, but they'll make the decision, call the audible halfway down if it's definitely not moving.
Wait's good.
Whoa. I can't see him.
Wait's good.
Whoa.
Just that.
Close.
Wait's good.
Whoa. Yep. Whoa. Whoa. Yep. Hurt. 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 Roll it. Roll it.
They got it caught in between, hoping that it would continue to go, and just did not.
I can't see it. Came apart at the end, eh?
Yeah.
Good board weight.
Good board. Good board.
Good board weight.
Yeah.
Kathy, what's more important here, avoiding the jam or getting a roll, or what does he want to do?
Well, he wants to remove it. If he can hit and roll right in front of his other Yellowstone, it's great. If you get the roll behind, you jam on your own, and you're well set up this end right now for 3.
Board. Lean. Whoa,
board.
Whoa, whoa.
Solid board.
Whoa,
No.
stick. Whoa.
Solid board.
Never. Yep. Whoa.
No.
Yep, 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 yep.
Avoids the jam, and there's that catcher, but rolls too far.
Well, nice try by John Morris when he realized it was hanging out.
How was the weight?
It was fine. Just maybe a hair solid, not big.
Good throw, Jim. You probably nailed the broom with that. We just had max ice for you.
Yeah, okay. Because it felt pretty close.
Yeah,
like it felt good.
Out of your mid, I liked it. And then it was just, it's a type of spot where it's a hair more gradual, and with that positive board. So it's hard to take much less than that, because the only way we hurt ourselves is if we overcurl.
Yeah.
Right? So it's hard to take less than that.
A great positive reinforcement.
I think
You
the only
threw it
problem
well,
you'd have
we gave
would
you
be
maybe
the
too much
freeze on the
ice,
yellow on
can't
the
take less,
side.
didn't want to jam.
I don't like
Just
that
making a result that they weren't happy with come out really good.
Then I think this is all we have.
Yeah.
If we drew full 8, perfectly buried,
it's okay, but I think once we get in the forefoot, he can probably get us in either return.
Yeah. I like this, Brett.
Shot is about minimizing the damage, keeping the game within reach.
Brad Gushue trying to keep his playoff hopes alive here in Kamloops. His final stone in 5 without hammer.
Whoa. What's the weight like?
Weight's good.
No. Sorry.
In that same spot as Jim Cotter, it stays straight right on the nose. So a hit for 2 for BC.
It's my fault. I jumped it on you. All right. Sliding tight. Didn't think I got it back enough. Well, that was not a pleasant end.
Bad 5 ends.
You think?
It wasn't just this end.
And it's been that kind of week so far for Brad Gushue and his team.
Nice shot for Jim Cotter. Nose hit.
Jim Cotter just through the same path, same shot.
Great throw, Jimmy.
Cotter right on the nose. And a textbook. 5 ends for BC.
Ooh, that's a straight.
A pair of deuces and a 4-1 advantage after 5.
Well, we can afford it.
The 2014 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Ford, proud partner of the Canadian Curling Association for over 20 years.
Oh, we take them of all sizes here. Great fans. Looks like she will be in the Scotties, maybe not the Brier. It's been an interesting start. Not at all what Newfoundland Labrador wanted, but for Jim Cotter, pretty happy, and he is with Brian.
Jim, a very solid lead after 5 for you. The one thing we always notice with you and Johnny Moe is the great communication. Take us through your first stone in 5. Sounded like you threw it really good, but it just didn't quite curl up for you.
Yeah, it just didn't curl up. We took, Johnny said I threw real good. We took max ice. We could not over curl that, so we didn't mind, you know, if we end up running the risk of rolling out versus over curling and jamming it. So we're okay with that. We're happy with deuce. We're playing the whole end for a deuce, so we managed to pull that off.
Relatively big picture, you guys are actually a fairly new team and coming together. How have you managed to gel so good so soon?
Well, we've been friends for a long time, and, you know, that really helps. But, yeah, we you know, just got together there in May, pulled the team together, and, you know, having a great leader like John on our team has helped us a lot. We did all little things early, and it's finally paying off.
I know you go into the Kamloops Sports Hall of Fame off to a great start. You grew up here in the city. How special has this week been so far for you?
Oh, it's been real special. It's, you know, coming back home, playing a hometown crowd is just fabulous. And hopefully we can get some more people out, fill up these seats. And, you know, watching 4 games versus 1 game on TV is just phenomenal. There's some great curling out here. So I encourage people from Kamloops to come on out.
Thanks for your time.
All right. Thanks, Brian.
Well, we know the numbers on the scoreboard, but let's take a look at the numbers after 5. And these are brought to you by Tim Hortons, Canada's favorite coffee. Well, if you look at the bottom line, the percentages are pretty close, but it's when you start to look individually through, look at the hit percentages for BC, much stronger, and it really is the front end from BC that is eating the lunch so far of Team Newfoundland and Labrador. Well, and it is a tough decision. That's Ken Bagnall he's talking to. That's our sports psychologist. Needs to get in his head and have it come out through his hands.
The 2014 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by World Financial Group, creating a better tomorrow for families today. WFG. By Capital One, what's in your wallet? And by M&M Meat Shops, frozen food at its best.
Welcome back inside the Interior Savings Center. Our feature game, BC, Newfoundland, and Labrador. Jim Cotter picks up 2 in the 5th end, and BC has a 4-1 advantage with action underway here in 6. Lead stones for BC from Rick Swatsky.
Gonna work. Now wait's there. We're there. Maybe
we talked about the front ends when we were looking at the numbers after 5. 85% for Rick Swatsky, 78% for his counterpart, so that's another plus so far.
Okay. Okay.
Do you think, Jeffy, pretty similar?
Pretty similar. Anything I hear more. Keeping them up.
Weight's good.
It's going to have to curl a bit. You can switch.
It's interesting. We saw
at least even.
Brad Gushue talking to Ken Bagnall. Yep. He was here earlier in the week. He had to fly back to Toronto for a few days, flew back last night. So obviously he's very committed to this team, trying to help them to move to the next level, figure out what's going on.
Nice weight, Jeff.
Well done.
What?
So many of the teams now not only working with the sports psychologist, but bringing them with them as a part of a team. You know, Alberta's, it acts as their coach, sits on the bench.
And John Dunn, yeah.
And they utilize their fifths as their player that would come out and talk about shot selection, if you will, but higher and higher at the levels, it's not so much shot selection, it's the other kinds of skills that you may need, the mental skills that will make you tougher.
I know you've worked with him before, Kathy. Can you give our viewers an example of something maybe that he would say or would work on with the player or the players or the whole team?
Well, he might be just talking to Brad about, you know, trying to stay positive and try to reinforce the good things of the players and remind them that, you know, it's not about getting it all back right away. It's you know, it's breaking down what you're doing and looking forward. You cannot change the 5 that you've just gone through. We heard Brad say to Jeff just before the break, you know, not a very good 5. It doesn't really matter whether it was or not. You are in the situation that you are. You're down 3. You find a way to score 2. You're back in the game. So deal with what is, not what was.
Good judge.
You heard Jim Cotter talk about the leadership that John Morris brings. As we see Tyrell Griffith, 28 years of age, throwing. Has to be nice having a guy like Rick Swatsky in the front end. 38 years of age, 10 years as senior. And I know you curled front end competitively, Kathy, for a very long time. And it's got to help having a fellow sweeper or someone beside you that can really help you out as well.
Oh, for sure. As we look at Rick, you know, it's the more that you play, it's not that young players aren't that good, but you've had more to experience. And I think one of the telling comments when I was talking to Jim Cotter about Rick yesterday and saying, you know, this crowd is so pro-BC and they want you to do so well. It's your hometown. And when they hear Jim Morris yell sweep for one of Jim Cotter's stones, they all get into it. And how will your front end be able to isolate all of that when maybe they don't need to be sweeping? And he just said, you know, Rick is beyond that. He doesn't listen to us even if we're yelling. He makes the decision. He judges whether it needs sweeping or not. And so that's the experience. It's really fun to play with somebody else. I always think about the Gretzky-Lemieux line years ago at the Olympics and how happy they were to play with somebody else with their expertise. That's what happens when you have an experienced player like Rick playing with somebody else that has the experience that he does. The only thing that's going to get Team BC into any trouble is that corner guard. Wants Brad Gushue to have to make plays on stones in the house, the big weight ability that both Jim and John have.
Yeah.
Lets them allow or remove a number of stones if they need to.
Think it'll be any slower out here?
It's a really good return if you don't mind it.
It's tough to get there with the out turn.
A little fresh here? I would think it'd be a little bit, yeah.
I'd say give us 4 feet extra.
I think it will be, yeah. Yeah, 4 sounds good.
And by fresh, Kathy, just still some pebble out that
Yeah,
way?
just charting where they've been. They haven't really thrown a lot of stones this wide, this far out there.
Yeah.
This is the side right against the crowd.
Should be good. Should be there.
Line all the way out there. Line only.
Yeah, we're all there.
You got no line at all.
We're all there.
Yeah, it's past it.
It's not way past it, Brad. It's back 12, back 12, back 12.
Yep.
Almost heavy, almost heavy.
Okay.
And that stone will just hang on, back 12. Just a reminder, it's a big day on our networks over on TSN Right Now Live Trade Center 2014. We told you about Marty St. Louis off to the Rangers. Now Ales Hemsky leaving Edmonton. He's off to Ottawa for a pair of draft picks. For all the details, join James Duthie and the guys over on TSN Trade Center 2014.
Now, how do you feel about that? You're an Oiler boy.
I am. Grew up
Born
in
and raised,
Edmonton.
yeah.
I know that the season can't get much worse. I know that.
I'm just sharing some of my bad news with you. I hear that Scheifele is out from the Winnipeg Jets for the next 6 to 8 weeks of a knee injury. That is not good.
You didn't hear they traded Ladd and Bufflin to the Oilers?
They did not.
just kidding.
I was actually thinking Bufflin should be on my dream team. He could take out people like you.
Might be some trades in the booth by the end of the week here. Linda, Russ, Vic, is there room for me?
Got it.
Nice shot from Johnny Moe.
Shot, Johnny.
And it's great that he moved around all that granite. If you take a look here as we have one more chance, makes that, he loses the one at the back as well. The less rocks, the better. With a 3-point edge, BC's content to keep the stones to a minimum in the house.
Wait, Jimmy could.
Whoa. Make this close. Line's good.
Wait, looks good.
Line's
A
good.
little tighter, hard.
Okay.
Okay, line only still. Tapping it a foot.
Wait's real. We're all there.
Yep, gotta go.
Still bumping it.
Gotta go fine, though, guys. Hard and stay square. Go. Hard.
Good shot, Brett.
Very nice.
Good throw.
It is a stressful week. You can see it on Brett's face. You set pretty high expectations for yourself from the previous year, especially Brett personally. He had played so well last year. They come in here with such high hopes, and it's been a struggle. Not so for this team.
Down to skip stones here in 6. Jim Cotter, the fourth rock thrower for BC.
Whoa.
Yep.
Clean. Great throw, Jimmy.
And he spills them all. So we talked about that great provincial, and then of course moving on here to the Brier for John Morris. They sneaked out that win, Kathy, against Alberta. That was a very close game, and the one slip to Quebec, losing 7-4, but since then they've really had some momentum going.
Well, they really have, and they played some great teams, but you look ahead on their schedule, and you know, you've got Ontario who's in contention. You've got Manitoba who's always going to be tough. Those teams are not going to just lay down for you. So tough road to host, still important to play well right through.
But we'll get swats like really nice.
Started with getting a couple of guards up, did not materialize.
Should be there,
So
guys.
they will play this out and try it again.
Wait's good.
7.
Clean.
Whoa.
Keep your brooms on it.
Good shot, Brett.
You really have to feel for Brad Gushue, not only battling to keep his playoff hopes alive. We heard from him has a head flu or a head cold he's dealing with. Here's a look at his results so far. Started off good, and then 3 losses in a row, and then win, loss, win, and now wins up against BC.
Well, the important thing is take a look at the Manitoba, Ontario, and Saskatchewan. 1 point. You know, and those are games that he would say that he played particularly well. So 1-point games, those could have gone either way if they had just found some consistency.
It's Brad Gushue's 11th trip to the Tim Hortons Brier. We talked about it off the top of the show. Only once during that time did he finish below 500, and that was just a few years back in Saskatoon. So high expectations for this team for sure.
Toss. Toss, Jim. Nice toss, buddy.
Jim Cotter, the fourth rock thrower for BC, does his job. Brad Gushue made the comment at the beginning of the week he might be the only guy out here on the ice that would rather win a Brier title than Olympic gold because he already has that Olympic gold in his pocket, the one thing missing from his resume. He badly would love to win a Canadian men's curling championship. Final stone here in 6, looking for the blank. And Gushue is good. An uphill climb ahead. Down 4-1. Gushue with hammer when we return. It's a busy day for the NHL. Just a reminder tonight, it's Scotiabank Wednesday Night Hockey. It is the Leafs in New York to take on the Rangers. Marty St. Louis is on his way to MSG. He could be in the lineup tonight. 7 p.m. Eastern Time on TSN, of course. James Duthie and the guys very busy over on TSN. It's Trade Center 2014, and that is live right now. And live right here, the Tim Hortons Brier. Our feature matchup, BC, Newfoundland, and Labrador. Brad Gushue retaining the hammer with the blank. He's down 4-1 and in need of a score here at the Tim Hortons Brier.
Wait's good. Really does need to find a way to score 2. More to change momentum than because he's out of ends.
Good shot, Jeff. Good judge, Brett.
Pretty close.
Same weight.
Pretty close.
Just
clean that. Just top 8.
Same weight.
Just bite the 4.
Top 4. I got the same. Might be to it.
I think we're to it, John.
Yeah, we're to it.
Clean
Just
for
to
line.
it.
Clean it. It's getting better.
Oh, it's coming down.
It's coming down. We're good.
Top 8. Top 8.
It's perfect line. It's perfect line. Great shot, Swat.
Yeah.
It's been a loud morning here in Kamloops. Love these kids. They're from the Lloyd George Elementary School.
What do you think, Jeff?
Some grade 7 students having a great time. We'd love you to join us. If you want to come down here, curling.ca/tickets at the Interior Savings Center here all weekend long.
Maybe 2. Up curl.
They put Kathy Goshi on the big screen. That's why the kids were going wild.
Sit.
It's great to see them. It's a really great way. It's awesome usually as we travel that school groups do come in. It's exposure for some of the kids to curling for the very first time. We always hope that they'll see it and want to try it. And we do know that every time the Olympics is played, there is an explosion of interest in the sport. I know that in Canada, with Jennifer and Brad doing so well, the curling clubs are getting a lot more calls. That's great.
Yep.
Tyrell Griffith
Hard.
making a play on that corner.
Hard. Swat. Hard. Oh.
And it will bite the rings. And to follow up on that point, Kathy, the Olympics, so incredible. So many new fans to the sport. I remember J.J. Watt, a great defensive player for Houston, said the one sport he wanted to really watch was the curling at the Olympics. We're watching Alberta, Nova Scotia. Got an update for you. And Nova Scotia lying 2. Give credit to Jamie Murphy. Yes, he hasn't had a win yet. He has given Alberta all Kevin Cooey can handle so far in this game. And now it's a play against 2. I wasn't sure if it was a draw or a tap. It looks to be the tap here.
Right to it, guys.
It is, and I agree with you. I have watched a lot of Jamie Murphy's games for the updates, and he is taking his responsibility and his pride at representing Nova Scotia to heart and playing heart and soul every game he plays.
So 5-2 advantage for Alberta, and we talked about the pre-competition event next year in Calgary before the Brier to see the field. Nova Scotia, one of those teams that desperately needs every win they can muster.
Well, Newfoundland Labrador tried to catch that a little bit thinner and get that roll behind those 2 guards. Opportunity there, but does not quite roll it under.
Northern Ontario facing Manitoba this morning as well. Jeff Stoughton at 5-2 record. You see 2 counters for Northern Onts. Jeff Stoughton, final stone, trying to pick up his single.
Good board.
Wow.
Please.
He's playing easy way to keep it straight and to tap one of those stones back. Needs to stick around in the 4-foot.
Is this weight nice, Kathy?
This is less than nice.
Less than nice. I love the terms. Well, it is nice. Nice result for Jeff Stoughton. He'll roll in and get a single. So Manitoba in control, up 5-3 after 6.
I think you got to be less than half a rock, and I think.
And back in our feature sheet, a lot of yellow in the house as Brad Gushue trying to find a way to orchestrate a 2.
That's actually okay. When he didn't have last rock, last end, it was disturbing a little bit for him. But with last rock, he can afford to take risks. He's got stones that he can bounce off of or manipulate.
A little heavy. Almost through.
Hard, gotta go.
Hard.
Hard.
Come on, hard. Through on its own. Hard.
Go.
Go. Well, listen.
Hard, Jeff, hard.
Option B.
Turned out okay.
They can make some shots.
James Grattan had a tough start in Kamloops, but I think they're finding their rhythm. An 8-2 advantage over PEI in the 7th end for the team from Oromocto. And in talking with James, he said it was the same old story. We're very used to the straight ice, and it's really tough to come here on this swingy, curly ice and adjust, but they've done a great job, and they're picking up momentum as well for their province.
It's interesting. He told me that, you know, he was hopeful this year because he looked at the schedule and saw that they played Jeff Curry first game, another rookie, as he called him, and thought maybe he would have that advantage, but he just said the ice was just so different from anything that he plays on at home. He just really struggled to believe.
Shot.
Great up weight from John Morris, clears everything out. Center.
Nice roll.
Hard here, she finished nice.
Same weight as from last end, a little less.
Kathy, BC looks so strong, right from the execution to the communication. Is there any chink in the armor at this point, in your opinion, when you look at this BC side?
No, I mean, they're playing really, really well. They've got something that, you know, and I listened to John Moe talk about he lost his heart, and it wasn't that he didn't believe in Kevin or Benny or Mark. They're such a great team, but it becomes almost feeling like you're going to work when you curl. You can't be a machine. This is amateur sport, and you still have to love what you do, which is what he's doing. And that's the biggest thing I think that BC has going for it, is they really like each other. They love the game, and they love playing together. Conversely, you look at Newfoundland Labrador, and it's feeling like work. It's feeling like it's a struggle for them. And it's that attitude that BC has that I think is going to take them a very long way this week. And then when you factor in their great shot making, great combination.
85.
To follow up on that, the one thing that Johnny Moe did say was that he's played obviously on some spectacular teams with guys that have so much talent. And he says with this team, I just love the heart of these guys and how badly they want to win.
Say we're there.
Back 8.
Whoa for line.
Whoa, then.
Whoa.
Back 8, back 12.
Got a curl.
Right off.
Wow.
Split, Jimmy.
Trying to come through that
Back
same
12.
hole.
Shooter. Hard.
That works. I think we're second. I think we're second.
It's close.
Not bad.
Hard to tell. Sort of looks red from
As
here.
long as we're second.
I think we are. I don't know. I didn't get a good
Just
look.
a reminder to our viewers, our overhead looks like it's perfect, but at times it can be deceiving, the overhead camera look.
There's second.
Just a hair heavy.
Hair heavy.
Okay, Jim Cotter believes it's Newfoundland and Labrador that is second.
We're shot, eh?
They are close, but Jim Cotter believes it's red. We believe it's red.
Looks like us.
And by this call, Brad Gushue believes it's red.
What do you mean by we? I didn't get a vote.
Well, I am the people for the people of the people.
Behind every
Me
great
and the
man
camera.
is a better woman, right, Kathy? Okay. I'll go with you.
Weight's good.
Yep. Whoa, yep. Whoa, yep. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, that was the one break that they were hoping for, Newfoundland and Labrador, now able to split the house. Nice throw by Brett.
Thanks. It's close, but I'm pretty sure it's... It looked like us in the overhead, but who knows how good that is, but...
Well, Brian firmly believes that it's red.
Good board, guys.
Yeah. What I found funny in Montreal, the Scotties, is that the women at times, out of habit, they would look up to the Jumbotron to get a better sense, but there was no Jumbotron, so...
Solid board!
Solid board!
And so Jim Cotter's plan is to stick right there, hoping that in making a play against it, Brad Gushue would also stick. And all of a sudden then you've got an angle on the stones, and maybe the double will be there for his final. You can see it working its way up the house.
Nose or roll a hair high is fine. Board weight.
Might be able to. All you gotta do is tickle it.
Exactly.
John already lining up the angle from where Brad Gushue's stone will be. He does not have to make the double. All he has to do is make any contact on that red stone.
Board just solid board. A little more than Brett.
Whoa. Whoa.
A little more than yours, Brett. And a little solid.
Lead.
Oh,
Yes. Yes. Hard. Hard. Hard, Jeff. Whoa.
Brad Gushue, tiny roll. And now Jim will eye up that double.
You want to try the end then?
I think I can. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah, it's...
You got to whip the outturn and hit...
It is pretty flat.
Thick half. Like 2/3. It's 2/3. And if you do that with the outturn, I think you'll be able to just push it to
I
here.
was thinking I can get more action with my intern with a...
But it rolls lower, eh?
No, I know it does.
I know what you're saying. You get more. But if you,
yeah, okay, throw the out.
I just don't know if it's there with the intern.
Go the out.
Might be there at the end.
The reason they're talking about the in or the out, think about the rock coming across the top of the stone. So from the outturn side, you're going to be coming across the top, so it's at a higher angle. The in-turn side, which is the one they're going to play, which is the one that he's more comfortable with, comes into the stone this way. So it's a little sharper angle. John's concerned that it might go by that way, keeping in mind that the objective is not necessarily to remove the second red, although that's great if they can. Even if they can graze it at all, it should be enough to tap it back far enough that it's no longer shot. This has got warp speed.
Whoa!
Jim Cotter wants the double, roll enough, a little tickle. Yes, he does.
Got Jimmy.
That's a tough shot. You saw the kind of weight he had to throw.
More than a tickle. He pushed it right through. And Kamloops approves. Look at the backswing.
Well, backswing and extension.
And what I found interesting, too, as we watch it one more time, Kathy, John wasn't sure about that turn, but eventually he went back to what his skip wanted to throw.
That's key. You know what, Jimmy was quite clear he could make it with the intern. He was right.
With the extra helicopter.
You can hit it thick and it just rolls.
Yeah.
The Airwolf.
Yeah, we hit that. What do you think you hit? 80% of it, probably. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good 4 seconds, even a hair slower.
But it's funny, Kath, we've seen it a few times this week where a front-end member or the third will actually try to convince the skip of the shot that you could just kind of sense they weren't quite comfortable with. And what does Johnny Moe do? He makes sure that he went with the shot that his skip was comfortable with.
They never disagreed on the shot. It was the turn John thought was the out turn, but great decision to let Jim do what he thought he could do. And for Brad Gushue, you have to park that disappointment and score your one and see what you can do in 8.
Nice draw weight from the 2006 Olympic gold medalist. So it's a 2-point game. BC with the hammer when we return.
Guess we should have froze.
Jim Cotter says he's so glad to be back in Kamloops, and I think Kamloops is pretty happy to have him back as well.
Well, he's made a lot of good, simple shots all week, but this was his call all along. He really wanted to play the interns, got that backswing, did the extension, did the lots of tops on it, so it's going to go. All he had to do was touch it. Not only does he touch it, he makes it go away. Look how flat those stones are. Great shot.
The key shot brought to you by Scotty's Tissue, the perfect touch of design and softness.
And that great shot robbed Brad Gushue of an almost sure deuce. That would have brought the game really tight, but instead it is BC with last rock again and a 2-point edge playing 8. They've got to feel comfortable.
It really has been Johnny Mo momentum for BC and this team the entire morning here. Very crucial day in round robin play, the Tim Hortons Brier. So a 4-2 lead for BC. And it is John Morris, Jim Cotter with the hammer.
It's at the end, Casey.
And if you're Team Newfoundland and Labrador, you just remind yourself how close you were to being able to get 2, and all you need to do is steal 1. That doesn't make you even, but all of a sudden BC's collars get a little bit tighter when there's only 1-point difference.
I know a lot of people back in Thunder Bay, Ontario, very proud of this curling club. The rookies, Jeff Curry, taking on Manitoba. And Stoughton's applied the pressure this morning. Final stone on the way from Jeff Curry, trying to draw in for a single.
Needs 8 foot.
Gotta go all the way.
Pull 8, boys.
The defending champs from Northern Ontario, Brad Jacobs, of course, couldn't be here to try and defend their title. Off in Russia, winning an Olympic gold medal. Jacobs' team will actually be here on the weekend.
People very excited about that.
Good shot.
And a great draw here from Jeff Curry, so he'll get a single. And it is a 1-point game as they hang in tough against the three-time Brier champ, Jeff Stoughton.
Well, Newfoundland and Labrador have their 2 guards up. BC trying to apply a lot of pressure by putting both of theirs in, and so this is about freezing. These are set-up shots right now, not looking to get shot stone.
Wait's nice.
Trying to get some red granite in there.
Whoa.
Back 12.
Whoa.
Whoa. Close.
Just
back
through.
Whoa.
Just through.
Whoa.
Just
Whoa.
through.
Whoa.
Back line.
Whoa.
Right off.
Whoa.
Clean.
Tapping is okay, but you want to stay on the nose.
Back 12. Back 12.
Bounce.
Good shot, Casey.
Good shot.
Real good.
And here come the peels.
Yep. Good. Clean. Hard. Hard.
Yeah, get that out.
Eddie McKenzie from the Charlottetown Curling Complex representing Prince Edward Island this weekend. They're taking on New Brunswick. There you see the house, so you have Eddie is second shot, trying to play a little tap. I don't know if there is a way to score 2 here, Kathy. I don't know if the angles are in his favor.
It might cut a little.
It's hard to tell. It's going away. We'll take a look. I don't know if he comes down to the nose, Brian, and he taps that back one back, if his shooter will outcount the one at the back.
Might need to roll it just slightly to get in a touch more. So he's got one for sure. Did the shooter get enough of the red paint?
Let's take a look.
Oh, they're taking a look.
Take a look here first. It's pretty close, Sean. I think it's them, but we can measure it.
Go. Go. Go.
So they will measure. In the meantime, on our feature sheet, a little tap.
You could have made it that way.
And BC does lie 2, but now both those yellow stones behind the tee line. And we'll keep you updated on that measurement in the PEI New Brunswick game. Tyrell Griffith. Another peel.
Toss, Ty.
Well, a good call by BC to get rid of that. Lots of opportunities to get rid of both of those red stones by a nose hit as long as there's nothing up front in their way.
I think Brett halfway.
Just halfway, I think. I don't think it's farther than that.
It's not very tight.
Hey, halfway.
Halfway. Yeah, weight's good.
Yeah, we're fine.
Weight's good.
There, guys.
Nice weight.
Thank you. Plenty.
Halfway tight.
Halfway. A
Halfway
little better.
tight.
2/3.
Clean
Do you want
it.
finish or no?
No. Just clean it. Yep, a little bit. Yep.
Good boy.
Okay.
Those guards are not easy to throw, Kathy, are they?
You know what? It's relatively easy to throw a guard. It is the precise nature of where you want them. So you don't want them close enough that they're going to run it back. You don't want them far enough out front that with the swing in this ice that they can be ignored.
Just a fraction more, Jim.
They do take, the focus that you need to apply it actually to every shot.
Lead.
So in theory, Kathy, they're not easy.
When have you ever known me to say yes or no?
As promised, an update. There was a measurement, and it was just the single for PEI, so still an uphill battle for Eddie McKenzie. James Stratton up 8-3, and they are underway in 8.
Pretty similar, a little softer to the hand. Yeah, a little less.
Probably one more guard here for Breck-Deland, and then Newfoundland and Labrador will start to have to move some granite around.
You're real close to the same weight, guys.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Wait, get ready, get ready,
Yep.
get ready.
Line should be full. Hurt. Good. Line's good. Whoa. Line's real good.
Good shot.
Well, Kathy, BC leads on the scoreboard. What's the situation at the third position?
Well, it's a slight edge for John Morris, but look at those draws. Those are not particularly numbers that he would be happy with. And the only reason that it's relatively close is if you look at Brett Gallant, those aren't numbers he'd be happy with either. The good news for Brett is that those numbers, 79, 80-ish, that's more where he needs to be for consistency. For John Morris, would be disappointed with those numbers. That's lower than his 89% average for the week.
Clean.
Player comparisons brought to you by Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Great throws.
Okay, buddy. Freezing now, eh?
It's the same all across. Okay, same as what I threw last time, or a little less?
Now it's back 4, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think that's pretty good.
Playing the freeze down to the BC stone.
Same as what you threw, should be good. Okay.
How's the ice been this morning, Kathy?
It's good. There's no question about it. It's there's not that slowing down that we sometimes see in the night draw, the third draw of the day, and they do condition and do a lot of work in between and open the doors. And it'll be interesting to see as the week goes on, as the temperatures get warmer.
Wait's there.
Alberta, Nova Scotia also in action. A 5-2 lead for Kevin Cooey and his team out of Calgary. Final stone for Jamie Murphy, and you saw the house situation pretty critical here. It needs to stick around with his final stone.
Yep. Whoa! Off!
And he gets the roll, and it rolls enough to pick up a single. So Jamie Murphy hanging in there, down by 2 after 7.
We see that lovely freeze by Brad.
Jam though on the other.
I don't think so.
If we play this right there, I don't know if they'll ever get that out. Besides,
I agree.
Can you hit half the red? Or is that no good?
But likely it's gonna just
and stick it there.
Jam here, right? Then he's drawn to 2 berry.
Yeah.
Which is not very good.
Is that?
That's a little dangerous too.
We play hack with nose?
I think our best play is hack weight on this.
No,
I think you're right.
So right in front.
Okay.
Not even hack, back ring. Just back 12.
Okay.
Where you want to be, Jimmy, is what we're going to do here is we're going to try to just roll. If we can get inside edge, right? Then it takes his tap away and it sets you up in your last one. So I think just as long as you get this sort of into the good 8-foot here, it'll open it up.
They just want to release that yellow stone that Brad's just frozen to, and by release I mean move it out of the way a little bit. Doesn't have to go out of the house.
What kind of way do you throw it?
Just come back a little bit so that if they're frozen and not shot, they can tap it next time to get shot.
It's a good path in here.
Back line?
Back line.
Back line, wait.
Jim Cotter, his first stone here at 8. BC does have the hammer. 3 rocks to come.
Easy.
Back line.
Whoa.
Back line. It's through.
Whoa.
We're through.
Close.
Yeah! Hard! Hard!
They wanted that little inside roll.
Beauty.
Nice shot.
And it shot stone as well.
Perfect.
You have to play that so tight to that top red one to get that shot.
As good as we can do.
It is as good as you can do. They called that when the break was happening, just get by, and the room for shot.
I think we did.
Did they expect to get shot stone too, Kathy, or is that a bonus?
That's a bonus. Right on top of it was the plan for sure. Guaranteed shot's lovely.
Can't get enough of this to get shot, can we?
Maybe off the 7.
Yeah. Oh, that's all you.
Well, he's got half
You
the
leave
7.
a gimme double, though, I think.
Yeah, he'd probably give him this for 2 for fun.
What?
If we do this, he's probably going to have this for fun.
Say that again.
Well, I said if we tap this, he's going to have the 7 for fun.
No, if we just tap it in here. 7.
Yeah. Still for
so
1.
He won't have the 7. He'll probably have this one back and off.
Yeah.
For 3.
Yeah.
Well, depending on how
well,
far
he'll
we
always
bump
have
that.
the 7 for 1. You're saying it's going to jam here?
No, I'm saying if we play this,
yeah.
The only way we can get it in here, we'd have to kind of chip off that and get it in here. Yeah. So the 7's not doing much.
He's going to play the exact same shot he just played.
Well, no, I think he'd...
7
is
the
how far we move that. Then he'd just play this double, probably just for 2, but...
What do you think about this?
That was my first thought. If it's there, it's
we guard now.
How's he get
away
2?
And takes 1.
How does he get 2? Well, he'd probably play this one back.
Yeah.
With quiet weight.
Yeah, there's no risk there.
I'm out.
I mean, 1's not, like, giving up 1's pretty bad. There's no
Coach
way
Peter Gallant will come out.
Paper thin, it is.
Makes it easier. Makes the 7 go nowhere. No.
Not really.
No, I was hoping you would see something from back there, because I see nothing. If we could just miss our 3, we might be able to spin it out of the 4-foot.
I think you can.
That's all you need to do.
You got to hit it. There's 1 spot to hit it.
It'll go 2.
Just miss it, because it's going to have the spin. We should be able to kick it out to here.
Yeah.
I think that's our best bet.
I think it is too.
Never get thin enough to go. Oh, no,
never.
No. I don't think so.
Yeah, I think the best you do tapping the 5 is kind of there.
Yeah. And then
where the 7 is probably going to be. You
can't miss.
Right across.
Unless he racks.
Okay. So what is it? Thin half? Half is close.
Yeah. You need to be a little thinner than half.
And this game looks like Crokinole.
Thin half. 3rd. I don't have that much of it either, so.
Well, it's a really tough shot. They looked at a number of options, and the reality is that he's lining up to hit it at about a 3rd and get rid of the far yellow one as you look at it on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
I guess the key here too, Kathy, don't be wide. If you ever pick out your red stone, then it's a draw for 3.
Yeah, that would be bad.
As Brad Gushue said, there's not a lot of good right now on this end. His final stone without hammer here in 8.
Oh! Yes!
How much can he get? Pick the yellow stone, get them both moving, and a nice shot.
too if he's a hair high now.
Yeah, and it probably went in the best spot possible.
Yeah, can't do it any better than that.
It's a nice throw. He had a really tough shot. Just get by the front. That connects. They were hoping it might go a little bit further and bring the top one into play, but given the lineup of those stones, it's a pretty good outcome.
Easily, yeah. Would have needed Jim or John to throw that to get that out, not me.
All things considered, though, Kathy, not bad. The force is on now.
For sure, and you know what, a really good reflection of there's a lot of shots possible, and that's why a guy like Kevin Cooey is just so tough to beat, because he has that upweight ability in his arsenal, as does he.
Same weight.
So final stone here for Jim Cotter. Basically the same shot. Front end says same weight. Needs to curl up, needs a little roll. Get a piece of that button, you bet he does. So a single for BC. Jim Cotter continues to lead here in Kamloops.
Kamloops was a lot of fun. The whole community was behind this event in 1996. Everywhere we went, every restaurant, every pub, everywhere we went, there was Brier posters. People knew that the Brier was in town, cheering you on. First time that I ever actually got full-body goosebumps from another team making a shot against us, because the place just went nuts. So great memories, and nothing better than, you know, winning in an extra end and getting to move on to the World Championships.
A very cool walk down memory lane. Jeff Stoughton hasn't aged a bit. And this afternoon, he's in our featured draw, taking on Steve Laycock. Both these teams certainly right there when it comes to playoff contention. Just a reminder, that one also on TSN2 this afternoon at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with Vic, Linda, and Russ. Back to our feature matchup on this Wednesday morning, Newfoundland, Labrador, and BC. And it was a nice shot for a single by Jim Cotter in 8, so
I said it was right on the coffee cup.
It is Brad Gushue and his team from the Ballyhaley Golf and Curling Club in St. John's with the hammer now here in 9.
Real close. Try not to kill it early.
Top 8, top 4.
How's the line?
Needs to curl.
Needs to curl. We gotta go. Okay, go.
Well, last end would have reminded BC how strong this Newfoundland Labrador team can be. Two very precise shots by Brad Gushue.
One game in the books this morning between PEI and New Brunswick. It's an 8-3 final. And James Grattan out of the Gage Golf and Curling Club in Oromocto, beginning to find his groove, getting more comfortable with the ice as he picks up yet another win.
Whoa, looks like more than this.
And New Brunswick improving to 3-5.
Sit.
PEI dropping to 3-5.
Two BC stones in the 4-foot, 2 corner guards belonging to Newfoundland Labrador, and so the peeling begins for Team BC.
Whoa! Whoa! Curl! Yeah. Okay. Halfway, high-ish. Yeah.
Go a little on that up.
Okay. I think it's
I
over.
don't think we need to.
Weight's good. Halfway.
The way mine slid, it should do.
Halfway. Higher than half.
Okay, that's fine. Line's real
How's
good.
the line?
Half.
Whoa, you're gonna overcurl if
Line's
it keeps going.
Halfway, exactly.
Whoa.
You know, higher than half.
Whoa.
Good.
Whoa.
Good shot.
And really, Kathy, this has to be a very comfortable position for BC right now.
Yes.
Up by 3, yes, without hammer, but even at worst, you give up 2 here, and you're still in good shape coming home in 10.
You know, watching it, I think that even for their friends and family, they're going to be feeling very much it's a comfortable spot. But I think that for Jim and for John, they know that the worst thing that they can do is just take their focus off this game for a moment or start to think that. And next thing you know, you're giving up 2 or 3, and all of a sudden things change. So expect the focus to remain, but, you know, for sure, it's a whole lot better than being tied up.
It's got to be tough, too. I mean, you've played at a high level, Kathy. As you say, maybe you're in that comfort zone a little bit, but you know that 2 of the other teams that are right there on top of the table or near you are also on the ice this morning in Alberta and Manitoba.
You do. You know, the early parts of the week, it's easy not to look around other than just casual glances. But as the week progresses, you start to look at the leaderboard and think about who it is that you might be playing. In this particular case with BC in the 1-2 game, if they win it out. They know that Manitoba has been struggling a little bit, but they're still amongst the favorites. And winning by 1 on the opposite side of the building, it's pretty hard not to cheat and look over. And speaking of which...
We know Jeff Stoughton, Team Manitoba, will be our feature game this afternoon on TSN2. Right now, in a battle with Northern Ontario. So Jeff is up by 1. He has the hammer here in 8. He has 1 yellow stone counting on the button. And the final stone to come now looks to be a tap up for 2.
Well, I think if he hits it right, he could actually get 4, Brian.
Yep. Run the yellow onto the red and avoid the jam and a big score.
Whoa, ah!
Yep. Close.
No!
Real close.
No. Yep.
Real close.
Whoa.
Yep.
He's got quiet weight by the guard.
Yep. Go, Reed.
Play on the yellow. How far can they move the
Yes,
red stone? You bet he can. Far enough. And once again, Kathy Gushue, brilliant.
3 yellow. It is hacked.
Except he rolled too far. He only got 3.
Okay. But still, you called it a nice shot from Jeff Stoughton.
Hey, Brett.
So 3 more on the board. And a 4-point advantage
That's why I like
for the 3-time Brier champ. And you heard him go down memory lane. Jeff may be starting to find some of that magic that he had here many years ago.
Well, he played great yesterday, Brian. You and I did the morning draw against Quebec, and it was a very well-played game. It was just a surprising outcome in the extra where we kind of felt like he got talked into a shot that he wasn't going to play. He was talking about playing the tap. He wound up playing the hit, and he missed that. Otherwise, he could have won that game. So it's a couple of things here and there that's just not working, but otherwise they're playing pretty well. It's a bit of a bad break.
And it's funny, in talking to Jeff after that, he made in that game you're talking about, I think a tap in 8 or 9. That was beautiful. And then what do we see right here? Similar kind of weight, a nice little tap shot. Certainly, he's one of the best in the business at those.
It's a good throw. It's just poker straight.
Is this another guard coming up, Kathy?
That's good, eh?
I did not see what he called, but it wouldn't surprise me if he went around.
It's nice. Let it curl. A lot of room. Just waiting for it.
Wait's real
Yeah,
good.
they're coming in behind that yellow guard.
Puppy.
The out-turn draw.
Wouldn't mind to go a little. Yep. Hard.
Come on, buddy. Go.
Hard. Gotta go. Hard. Go.
And they will not drag it in for second stone, but Newfoundland Labrador does lie 1 there, just back of the tee line.
A little bit outside the line.
Yeah.
Sorry. Came apart at the end, though.
Nice and it's a nice, sort of a gradual spot, eh, Jimmy? The only other thing we can do is freeze. Freeze is maybe safer.
Might be safer.
I like that. I like the freeze. It's safe for shot.
I like that.
I like this out turn. It's a nice, should be nice speed here.
They initially talked about playing
Right there should be good,
a
Jim.
hack or bumper weight because only half of that stone is open, but you can see how close that top stone is. If you ever just happen to go by and tick it here, and then you roll your shooter out, all of a sudden there's 2 stones belonging to Newfoundland and Labrador. And so instead they're switching tactics now and going aggressive, going to play down to the face of that stone and
Yeah, 96, I think it would be
force a little bit.
You know, I know John is a firefighter.
Yeah.
He could be a very confident salesperson because every time that Jim goes down, John puts the broom, he says, this is great ice, I love this spot, you're going to make it just fine. And so far, Jim has been making pretty much everything.
Said it should be in.
Back four.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Hair heavy right now.
Weight's good.
Weight's good.
No.
Needs the curl. Whoa.
Wait.
No bounce.
No. We're bouncing a hair.
Right off. Never.
Needs to curl up. Little bounce. Not sure it was shot stone.
Not bad.
Appears to be red. His weight wasn't bad. Sweeping weight. Yeah, looks like it is red.
You're on a roll this morning, Kathy Gauthier.
Thank you.
Well, let's get shot. Let's make sure we're shot. Well, we are shot.
Oh, close.
If you have, you might have the intern.
Yeah, he probably guards the other turn.
Freeze at 3/4 on the inside.
Come to get to the inside here of this stone.
Bounces, like, try and bounce it even with ours.
Okay.
I think that's tight ice. Like, Jim got out there.
I agree.
He had a lot of rotation,
One
too.
more.
Kathy, just looking ahead to maybe the next shot or the shot after, have we seen the intern path around that high yellow guard?
Not a whole lot.
Brett was pretty full in his.
Okay.
That's out in this area, maybe wider, but his came in sideways.
Yeah, his seemed to come down a little too, and it sort of got out there.
So a good reflection that you cannot always read off your opponent. You can take something out of the throw, but they felt that Jim Cotter was a little bit full, and he throws a lot more rotation than Brad does on his stone, and so the more rotation you have, the straighter the stone will go before it starts to curl.
Back 8. Line only. Close. Line only.
Tons of weight.
Back 8. Close.
Never.
Back 8.
Never.
Whoa.
Never, ever, ever.
Whoa.
Ever.
Close, whoa, never, little tap. And they lie to for now.
It was that extra little ice he took from the hack.
Foot too much. Sorry.
Yeah.
Doesn't go, but if he, well, a foot less, he can't nose it then.
Yeah.
Or hit, like he can whip it down there 3/4 and get it out.
What you can do is you can get away with it a shade high.
Yeah.
Well, as long as you don't baby it, like as long as you don't throw control or less. The only thing that'll give them a 3 is if you do that and dead jam this, right?
It's there.
While Johnny Moe and Team BC talks things over, we'll head over to Sheet B, Alberta, Nova Scotia. Kevin Cooey has shot stone pretty much buried, but with his final stone, Jamie Murphy will try come down. I'm assuming here, Kath, with some quiet weight, make a little tap and try score 2.
It really does move a lot. We see the finish on this ice is so good that if you can get by the guard, there's no problem to do that.
Real hard.
Jamie Murphy, Jordan Pinder, Mike Bardsley, Donald McDermott out of Lower Sackville in Nova Scotia.
We saw that earlier. He's just rubbed a couple of guards today. It's made the difference of 4 points already that we've seen.
And that's true, Kathy. I don't think this score indicative of how close this game actually has been. And there's the Velcro, and looks like handshakes are coming. So they will shake.
Good luck with the
Alberta continues to roll, looking really good in the standings.
Watching for the double here.
Go, 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 go. Great shot.
And for now, it looks like BC line 2, Kathy.
It is.
Oh, boy.
Oh, boy.
I think Johnny said too, right? He could hit on the high side. They could get away with that, and it looks like they did.
Thanks. You bailed me out there.
No problem.
Two duds for you.
Okay, I'm gonna.
He's honest. So for now, Kathy, Alberta improves to 7-1, as we saw the handshakes over there. Nova Scotia falls to 0-8. And now you can bet that the Cooey team will be having a peek at our feature game.
I don't know how often you make it, but I don't think we went down 2 without very often either.
think the only way to make it is that.
No. Oh my God, no.
Well, I agree with Adam. I don't think we win. I agree without. We're not stealing two.
It might be worth a try.
I think if we're going to try it, I think we're better off shaving this one than we are trying this. I don't think you can make that, especially for more than. I think you're probably just kicking. You're just going right into there. Yeah. Okay. There's no way you can hit the top half of that. Well, you're just going to hit the side. You don't have to hit the top half.
I mean, the rocks do jump off good.
You might make that. You're going to make that a lot more than you're going to make up.
But I think you might have to do what Jimmy did and throw the turn that gets you the spin.
The only thing, I know this one's there. I'm not sure. Well, that's exactly what I'm thinking.
Whatever you think, Goo. I'm good either way.
Like that's a 1 in. You might be able to get it to there.
1 in 20. Oh, we're pretty good.
Might not be whatever you think there at all. Do you think it's there?
I think you can make it.
Well, we were there with a rock here. Get one anyway.
I think it's very difficult, but I think that this shot over here is more difficult. Throw it hard and we hit 7-8.
Gosh, this is really flat. You know, Russ always talks about these striking bands of these stones really having pop, and they do have pop, and the ice conditions are such that the house is very lively as we watch Brett clean it up, but he's trying to remove those yellow stones, or at least tap that stone on the left to the 12-foot so that he would be lying 3 so flat. And he talked about his limitations with his ability to throw the up weight compared to Jim or John. Needs a lot of weight, a lot of rotation.
Here we go, final stone. Brad Gushue needs one of the best shots of the Brier so far. And he can't get over enough, so it will be a single. And now the difficult job ahead to try steal against a very good BC team coming home.
The unfortunate part, I think we hit him
coming up.
the old batsman.
It's now time for today's secret word. The secret word is entrees. Go to finaln.ca and enter this word for your chance to win.
Kathy, time to look at the game story, and one thing that stands out to me is certainly the fourth rock throwers. They came to play.
Well, they certainly did. You know, the opportunities for deuces BC took advantage of in both 2 and 5. And in 7, it was a great double by Jim Cotter that really forced Newfoundland to take 1 when they were set up for 2 all along. And look at those brilliant numbers. For Jim Cotter, you are right where you need to be. And for Brad Gushue, got to cut yourself some slack. He's played really well today.
The game story brought to you by Travelers. It's better under the umbrella. And Brad Gushue, if you're just joining us, under the weather as well, said he was battling a bit of a head cold. But the numbers certainly very impressive. But it is BC up 5-3 here in the 10th. And of course, Jim Cotter has the hammer coming home. Wheatstone's on the way. This is Jeff Walker.
It's okay.
Well, and the last shot last end by Brad Gushue was a bit of a desperation move, trying to find some way to score 2. You heard them say they really didn't think that they were going to be able to steal 2 against this team. And so he tried it, but so flat, so difficult to make. I'm not sure that it was even there.
Hey, make this as thick as possible.
What's that?
I say I want to make this as thick as possible.
And so with 1 in the house, Team BC electing to throw it through. I like the call. I think that any more rocks in play only help your opposition.
I always get a kick out of the Vancouver Olympics that we had the pleasure of covering, Kathy, and a lot of the fans were non-curling fans, but they were Olympic fans, and they were loving the game, and you'd see a shot like that and they would boo.
Yeah.
Because they thought that they
Somebody
missed.
was very heavy.
It was a really great experience, though, to have that kind of atmosphere in the crowds, and it was
awesome.
A lot of fun.
That building was tremendous.
Hard for line.
A little bit if you can, Jeff.
Really hard for line.
Hard line. Gotta go. Go. Hard.
Really hard.
Come on, Jeff. Go.
It's good.
Give it to me. Hard. Go. Hard to get by,
Jeff. Go, 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 go.
Whoa, whoa.
Stay on it, stay on it.
Yep.
The only people busier than us could be James Duthie and the gang. Trade Center is live on TSN right now, 2014. And the Marian Gaborik deal is now official. He's off to the LA Kings. Devin Dubnyk has ended up with the Montreal Canadiens. You know, Martin St. Louis is off to the Rangers, and they're playing the Leafs tonight on TSN. And it sounds like St. Louis is on his way. We'll try be in the lineup tonight. So for all your NHL details, Trade Center 2014 on TSN right now.
He's had quite the year. Mr. St. Louis?
I said James Duthie, yeah.
No, you're not going to the Olympics. Yes, you're going to the Olympics. Now you're here. Now you're going there.
No, and you know what? What a great player and a great guy. And
so agree.
Comes back with Olympic gold. Tampa Bay, though, was doing great. Actually also announced that Steven Stamkos has been medically cleared to play.
Oh, good.
So
that's great news.
Great news for Tampa Bay, and they're certainly right in that playoff mix. They're having a great season.
Wait, skid. Top 4, T. T.
Line should be good. This rock's going to finish.
T, top 4.
This rock will really finish.
Top 4.
Needs a curl.
It should curl.
Still there.
Looks a little
Just
heavy.
behind the T. We're all there.
On its own.
Just behind the T.
On its own. It's buried enough.
Kathy, just going back to Rick Swatsky, and of course he threw that stone through.
Yeah.
Would you ever have tried, and I'm just being devil's advocate, but try maybe a mini tick shot at one of the corner guards, or is it too risky?
You know what? It is not without risk. When you tick a center guard, you're trying to move stones to the wings, and so that's one thing. When you're trying to tick a corner guard, your shooter often will wind up in the center, and that's not what you want at all. And there's so much respect for the players on this BC team and their ability to peel just like that. With a 2-point edge, any play like that just leaves extra stones around or in a better position for Newfoundland and Labrador.
It's in my contract to ask you 20 questions per morning, and I have a short one. So
okay.
There you go.
Who's the quarterback for the Denver Broncos? Score, Pigman.
Part of the Kathy Coche fantasy curling team.
Should be all there.
You didn't say what position Peyton would play on your curling team.
Okay.
Far end. You can't possibly miss him. 6'6".
Oh, Jeff.
That's a skip, I guess. Far end. Linda, Russ, is that what you are?
Sit. Sit.
My son texted me last night and he goes, you know, Mom, you know he doesn't curl. I'm like, what part of fantasy team do you not get, my dear?
Okay.
True.
A lot of people got a kick out of Vernon Davis back with the American men's team in Sochi. He was there with them at the Olympics, and a lot of people got a thrill out of that, getting photos with him, of course. And he's actually taken up curling out on the West Coast, and he has a few of his NFL buddies in a celebrity charity spiel.
As we look at John Morris heading down, I remember during the Olympics in Vancouver, him talking about one of his highlights, very much what we've heard from Brad Gushue and from Jennifer Jones, is just having the hockey side, as we have that theme today with Trade Center. You know, the hockey players coming up to them and introducing themselves as though they needed to. And we forget that these Canadian boys that grew up here probably were curlers at one point, or very much aware of our sport as we are of theirs.
And we saw Sidney Crosby, Marty St. Louis, a number of the members watching Brad Jacobs' team in Russia. Same went for Vancouver.
And that was my favorite. I think at one point they showed Roberto Luongo sitting on the bench with the Team Brad Jacobs hat on his head. And I thought, wow, that's when you know that your sport's really, really caught on everywhere.
He was the big deal yesterday off to Florida. It's actually neat, though, Kathy. I know that a number of the NHL rinks on satellite, they can pick up our coverage, and you'll see them in their locker rooms or in the dressing areas with the curling on.
Or the hit and roll.
A couple feet less, boys, eh?
For Brad Gushue, looking for a place to hide. There's only one corner guard. It is long. And I really do believe anything that they hide around there would not be a great shot, because it'd be too easy to get out. And so that's why they're trying to play down to the stones in the house.
Remember, too, Braden Holtby's sister played in the Skies a couple years back for Saskatchewan.
Yes. Her folks were out.
Yeah, we are.
Very excited, I think.
We're faster. Okay.
Gonna work.
Still too much.
Still
mustard.
quick to the wing.
So for BC here, Kathy, just make all the red go away. Keep
Yeah,
the
it's a pure elimination thing. And they're not at all worried about the corner guard that is out by the center line, because anything that's buried around it, it is just so long, it'll be so easy to access. So it's chipping away at the stones in the house.
Just a good rag here.
Solid rag.
Yep.
Hit and roll out.
Yep.
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 Clean.
John Morris makes it go away. And BC, no time for rest. They're back on the ice this afternoon. And they'll take on the rookies out of Ontario, Greg Balsenstein. Ontario's been strong, though, a 4-2 record.
We know they're rookies, but they're not playing like it. There's lots of great shots on that team.
No.
Sliding real nice here. Sliding the same here.
And a tough realization for Brad Gushue at 3 and 4 coming in. You pick up that 5th loss, and you're in big trouble.
We don't know. I mean, it may be that 5 losses could get you in. It is just that traditionally, and as we look at the field right now and where they're at, it looks like 4 would be all that you would be allowed.
Less than Brett's, but close.
It's pretty similar to Brett's.
Weight should be pretty good. Maybe there.
Line only right now.
We have a full day, of course, of round robin play today and on Thursday, and then, of course, it wraps up Friday morning with 1 draw.
Hard for line. Hard for line.
Go.
Whoa.
Well, that's a tough break. Just lost line. His weight was good, but he is not second shot.
Can't make a double.
Okay. Good. Jumped up there. I don't know.
If we hit and roll out, then he makes the perfect roll. He's line 2, which we have an open draw anyway.
This draw, we're sitting 2, right?
Yeah.
Just come down here.
And even if we somehow throw this through the rings, he's got to make a slip double, which dead jams that, right?
Right.
So I think we just lob one in there.
Sure.
If that red counter back 12 wasn't in, they'd just blast the red and it's game over, correct?
Whatever you want, Jimmy. 6 to 1, half dozen another.
We're sitting 2, aren't we? I got it, Jim.
We're sitting 2.
Okay. Speed's good up down here, Jim.
Yes, T-line.
14.5 on those ones.
Yeah, it's pretty quick here.
Yeah, so high 90s.
T-line-ish. Back 8 maybe.
Should be good.
Should be all good. T-line.
No backing.
No backing.
No
guys.
backing.
Looks there.
That's
No
back
backing.
8. Back 8.
Well,
Might need some backing.
well then, well,
It's getting better.
off.
clean.
Right
Whoa.
off. Heavy.
Now we're
It's
bumping the hair.
14 in between the
Bumping
hog
the hair.
lines, so he's definitely back to them.
It's good.
Okay.
Yeah, good. It's fun.
Thanks, Jack.
Thanks, Brad.
And that's good enough. As Brad Gushue knows, there's not a lot he can do without Hammer and just that 1 stone to come from him. So it's handshakes. And that's loss number 5 for Newfoundland and Labrador. But at the top of the table, BC, John Morris, Jim Cotter keeping pace with Alberta. A 5-3 final. And another win for this BC machine. Johnny Mo momentum continues. More from Kamloops after this.
The 2014 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by Tim Hortons Premium Blend Coffee, a true Canadian tradition. The 2014 Tim Hortons Brier is brought to you by World Financial Group, creating a better tomorrow for families today, WFG. By Scotty's Sponge Towels, Purex, and Cashmere, proud to support the exceptional women of the Scotty's Tournament of Hearts. And by Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Just one piece of business left on this Wednesday afternoon, and Jeff Stoughton took care of it. He just had to make one of those red stones go away against Northern Ontario, and Jeff Curry Stoughton does just that, so it's handshakes. And that is the final game of our round-robin draw this morning. Jeff Stoughton victorious. 9-6, your final score, and with that, Manitoba improving their record to
good playing, guys.
6-2.
Nice tick there, man.
Jeff has Saskatchewan this afternoon, so no rest for him as we show you the updated standings now. BC 7-1, Alberta 7-1, Manitoba 6-2, and then you see the two lost teams in Saskatchewan and Ontario. Quebec also trying to stay alive, and then the 5 lost teams, they are in tough for a playoff spot this week. Just a reminder this afternoon, a great matchup, 6-2, Jeff Stoughton, the 3-time Brier champion, taking on Steve Laycock in his 4th appearance at the Brier, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Just a reminder, that game also on TSN2. Trade Center, of course, taking over the main network on TSN. They will keep you up to date all day long on your NHL news, and we have you covered here at the Tim Hortons Brier when it comes to curling. On behalf of myself, Kathy Gauthier, and our entire crew, thanks for watching the 85th edition of the Tim Hortons Brier right here on TSN.